Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing, guys. Yo, what's up? Welcome back to Vencabot. Uncharted: The Lost Legacy action. My name is David. Hanging out with my guys in the chat. Dick Sucker, of course, the young god. We've got Shiva Jones, Overlord Steve, EDL, and some other friends of mine. Let's go story mode here. So, I told the guys that I'm really on the fence about this game. I really have a lot of nervousness, anxiety about this game because I want to love it. I want to be really into it. I want to say this game was, you know, an all-time great for me. It's a game that's kind of turned my feelings on the whole franchise around. But it came so close with the open world section, Chapter 4. And I have this feeling that it's not going to have enough of that open world gameplay, now that we're past that part, to you know, let me say for sure that I like it more than Uncharted 3, which was all the way linear all the way through, but it had really balanced, really fast-paced gameplay. This game has an open world aspect, which is great, and I loved that. Of course, by necessity, the open world stuff is slower paced than Uncharted 3. Let me rephrase that. The fastest parts of 3. Right? Because the linearity of 3 helped it really carry along. But I would gladly sacrifice that linear speed for a more open-ended, you know, gameplay-focused experience where I can actually choose my own pace. Except that this game seems to only have that for, so far, one chapter.
Must be a way.
And then I'm back in the linear gameplay now, which is, you know, very restrictive and very limiting and otherwise pretty annoying in that respect. The game itself is so kind of slow, awkwardly paced outside of when it kind of lets me loose. But thankfully, for the first time in the whole franchise, the game really let me off the leash and let me play in an open world where I could, you know, just stealth guys and kill guys and climb things and swing on stuff and shoot people. It was just great. It was awesome. It's like everything I wanted the whole franchise to be. But the fact that the whole game itself is not all that way, it's not the entire game, it leaves me kind of cold. It leaves me feeling kind of teased, to be honest. Because the game could be so great, and it has been so great, but it's not always so great. This is the whole problem with the franchise, man. My whole problem with this whole fucking franchise is it can't settle into one gameplay style that I love. There was a treasure. Why did I spawn here? I think I know where I am, actually. My problem is that the game isn't perfect always, as Cool Hand. It's not so much that's my problem, Cool Hand. It's my problem is that it can't settle into one thing. And I hate, you know, some games I love that, you know, they have a gameplay style that I love, right? That's why I love that game. And I'm some weird place. Where did it? Is this where I'm supposed to go? No, this is where I came from. Okay. So, yeah, some games I love because they have gameplay that I love, right? And other games I hate because they have gameplay that I hate. But the Uncharted franchise, for the whole series, except for one, which I hated universally, for the whole franchise, have this thing where there's times where I love it and times that I hate it because the gameplay fluctuates all the time. So it leaves me feeling very teased. Is this a Drake jump? No way. Where am I going? I'm sorry, guys. We're just starting the stream for the day. I'm still kind of groggy, I guess. Over there. There we go. Okay. Whee. That's kind of a Drake jump right there. Can't wait for Uncharted 5 to be our racing games as dicks. Dude, when they introduced a car in 4, I was like, dude, I'm fucking done. I'm done with this franchise. Why is it like this? It could have been a racing game at that point. Huge ass. Yeah, she has a pretty, like, I think Dick's put it best when he said she has a diaper butt. Shiva says, makes me more and more curious to see you play The Last of Us 2, or rather, just hear your opinion on it. Fuck that game, says Shiva Jones. I hated the first Last of Us. And it wasn't because it had a lot of varying gameplay styles like this. It was because I just hated it all the way through. I think it was very consistent. Much more so than the Uncharted series. That game wasn't like this. It didn't have an ambition to combine a bunch of different genres and kind of switch back and forth between different gameplay styles all the time. Is that a Drake jump? No way. Again, I'm kind of lost here. Excuse me for being a little bit out of it right now. Is that a Drake jump? Well, I'm going to go for it, I guess. Yep. Wow. Okay. I also played The Last of Us 2, despite never having played it as Cool Hand, huh? The internet told me to. Well, yeah, you always got to follow what the internet says, Cool Hand. They can be very scary if you try to challenge them. Because maybe The Last of Us 2 learned from this, says Dix. Honestly, I'm curious, Dix. I'm honestly curious. So part of the reason I'm playing this Uncharted franchise, guys, is because of all the hype around Last of Us 2.
It's a shame in a way. The lure's hidden from the world. Now we know why.
That's kind of why we started this long play series, to kind of review Uncharted, as a way to get a better understanding of Naughty Dog's game. And I have some ambition of playing Last of Us 2 in the near future, but I'm not totally sold on it. I think I want to replay Last of Us 1 first, and that game was just so fucking boring. I can try cranking the difficulty up, Steve. I could try that next time. He's like, no, that's a very clear and consistent gameplay style, not a game. Yeah, the first, compared to the Uncharted franchise, I feel like The Last of Us was really more of a simple, you know, it's like a stealth shooting game, right? It's a shooting game with some stealth elements. Didn't really have any ambition to be anything else, unless you count the stupid crafting, which was totally a non-design, anti-design. It was not a thing in that game, at least not on normal mode, or wherever I played it on hard mode. Maybe it did learn to shoot the Jones. That could be too. Diaper butt.
There's another goal.
Diaper butt.
I'm guessing it's one of the Hoysala kings. How many kings did they have in their day? 11.
So here's the thing, guys. Last time I ended the stream, I was feeling very negative on the game. This game, that is.
Saved your city from the
Quite certain in my heart that we were done with the open world stuff. And no spoilers, please, if you guys know how this game goes. Let me discover it on my own. But I was quite heartbroken to find that maybe Chapter 4 was the only open world part of the game. And that would really leave me feeling very sour. And I deduced this because I looked at my treasure list and saw that I'm only missing a few things. It goes back to the top, see? It's missing only a very few things. But I didn't realize at the time, scrolling through like this, that actually, if I look on the right side, you know, the actual, the scroll bar goes only down to the halfway point, which means I'm actually only halfway done collecting things. So, almost certainly, I hope, there is another open world section. Because I was soft-spoiled earlier, there's only 9 chapters. That couldn't be. I'm on chapter 7 right now. Anyway, I was told there's only 9 chapters. It could be that's totally wrong. But if there is a very low number of chapters, then that means there's only 2 left. 1 must be open world, like 4 was. So, for that to be that many treasures remaining. 7's a massive open area and an underground oasis, says Styx. Sorry, chapter 8. Chapter 12 has a cool section where you can drive a tank copter. Huh? A tank copter? That's sick. I remember you getting curious about the balance mechanic when Joel walks across a plank and you couldn't fail. Joel walks across a plank. What's up here, Manu? Venka had his back. This game also has that. Well, Uncharted, I think it was Uncharted 4 had that. There's a plank I had to walk across and you literally can't fall. But of course, your character has to go, whoa, whoa, which I find hilarious. This franchise in general has this sort of like this trope where because the platforming is very much, very static, they have to always imply the peril by having the characters say something dumb like, oh no, or have like you guys love in this franchise when you leap for a ledge and they grab it and then it crumbles, they go, oh, a little cutscene plays out, they have to grab one on the way down, like, oh, I barely survived. Because compared to an actual platformer like fucking, you know, Mario or Sonic or any other classic platformer, any 3D platformer you can think of, you know, there's actually no actual like mathematics happening in terms of your running speed, momentum, and then your jump height and shit like that, jump distance. It's all automated. So there's very little peril most of the time. And so they have to kind of create the illusion of it by constantly having them go, whoa!
There we go.
Good work,
Up this
Katie.
way.
Hopefully your run ended well. Hopefully you bodied the boss. Where am I going? Over here, huh? It's kind of confusing because normally they don't let you grab things. Oh, I see. There's pores here. They don't usually let you grab things that have leaves on them. Okay, didn't. The laser became super OP later, huh? I remember when you first unlocked the laser as a new weapon, like overall, and you were like, what is the point of this? This is totally pointless. It looks cool, it looks very animated, but it has no actual function. You guys love this water? It's just a bunch of loose particles dropping down. I don't hate it. Probably more, maybe better than like a big polygon coming down. Inviting everybody to come hang out in 3S and Discord after Venka tonight. I'm gonna grab some food right now, though. Enjoy your food, Katie. Yeah, I heard a rumor that Katie's gonna actually try to get a big third strike thing going on later tonight. On his server, the Rodeo. He's gonna try to get the whole server involved. That sounds like fun. I think this franchise has an ambition of being baby's first, you know, intro to video games. And if it really, I think that if it really went balls out, it could be really hardcore. But I think that, you know, sometimes at first I thought that it was incompetence that kept from being hardcore. But now the more I played, the more I'm like, I feel like the developers must have been very frustrated. They must have had this thing going on where they really, for the whole development process, were like, listen, dude, we got to dial it back. Right? This is getting too inaccessible for a lot of our audience. We got to pull it back, make it more simple, make it more clear, you know, make it less like involved. And I think that as the franchise went down, especially into 4 and then the spin-off of 4, they're really like, okay, we can give them a little more space now. We're 4 games in. You know, our audience has learned the gameplay from the first game all the way through to now. We can kind of, you know, open up a little bit more and give them more to work with and not overwhelm them. For that reason, this franchise, 4 and this one, they might be the hardest game to get into for a total novice. But again, for someone that grew up in an industry that was more hardcore centric, I kind of,
and in case there was any doubt, this was,
you know, by that measure, they're still very simple games.
And I'm guessing that's Ganesh, at least before he got his elephant's head.
But compared to the previous games of the franchise, which I think were engineered to be very, very, you know, newbie friendly, these games could be a little more intimidating. But even then, I feel like, again, with the climbing the way it is, if we saw more mechanics being used more often, we could actually see, and again, a little more non-linearity. We could really see the platforming kind of grow into being a real solid platformer. But that's not really their ambition, I don't think, is to get more hardcore. They're quite happy the way it is. And that kind of frustrates me because I always want something a little bit more to sink my teeth into. But maybe I wasn't the target audience for this game.
Damn it! They've blown the entrance.
Oh, poop.
Gotta be another way.
There's treasure around here. There it is. Wow. Does Drake put his butt in pomp like this on the cliffs too? I don't remember, huh? He probably does, Ermanu. He was very impudent that way. Return of the Hat, Apples. Return of the Hat. The Cat in the Hat is back. Kind of reminds me of Yorda from Ico, where in this game, even more than previous games, the partner character walks around and looks at things. But in Ico, it was almost always a hint of what to do next, and I have assumed from Nadine, sometimes she kind of approaches something, I go, oh, what you looking at? Oh, it's nothing, literally. Just her idle animation. What you looking at? Something cool over there? Treasure? A switch, a lever? It's like, no, something cool. Just staring at wall textures, man, just like you do. That's fair. How's the final boss? Ass. Of course, dude. Super ass. Unbelievably ass. You know, the worst thing. The worst thing in that game. You know, idealistically. Not in terms of fun level. I mean, that game was fucking boring as hell. The final boss wasn't that boring, thankfully. So it wasn't the worst thing in the game in that respect. But, you know, speaking in terms of ideals, like game design ideals, the fact that they had to add a whole new mechanic for the final boss, it was like a mini game, that's the worst thing you can possibly do. Alright, guys? For God's sake, don't make your final boss a fucking mini game. For God's sake. Jesus Christ.
They're trying to
that being said,
down.
You know what other game did that, Shiva Jones? Metal Gear Solid. 1 and 4 did that. And to an extent, even 2, but I wouldn't go, it wasn't quite the same thing. Basically, I'm trying to say that those are legendary games that get tons of praise. And let's be clear, the final boss in those games are mini games. Bayo knows how to do a final boss as Cooling Hand. Bayonetta 1. That was a hell of a final boss, but there was a lot of final bosses in that fight. And the final one was a mini game. But I have no problem with that. Let me be clear. Right? When we're talking about final bosses and mini games, let me be clear. If you kill a final boss or any boss in a game, let's go back to the most classic example of God of War, right? And you distract me, Cool Hand. You kill the final boss, and then a minigame plays out, like a quick time event or whatever, that's fine. Okay, I'm here for that. That's okay. Right? As a reward for beating the final boss, do a little quick time, it's kind of fun, cool little cutscene plays out, whatever, I'm here for that. It's not the same thing as having a final boss be a minigame. Right? But yeah, the very final thing you do in the game is like a little gimmick, which is fine, it's cool, it was fun. But in Uncharted 2, and again, you're talking about Metal Gear Solid 1 on PS1, again, I hope we've mostly played here. You know, you guys remember the boxing fight with Liquid Snake on top of Metal Gear in the end? Why would you end a stealth game with a boxing match, why would that be the final test? A brand new mechanic is introduced, you have to figure out, to play a mini game to fight the final. Same reason why in Uncharted 4 there was a mini game for the end. Same reason why in a lot of games there's a mini game in the end. Because the gameplay, the core gameplay, doesn't sustain a boss fight. They never thought, how are we going to have a boss fight in this style of game? Right, the style of game is engineered for large encounters with many soldiers with guns. How can we have a traditional final boss fight against one supervillain in a game with Uncharted / Metal Gear Solid's gameplay? Well, there really is no way they could think of. So they put in a minigame for the final boss. That's kind of embarrassing. Core gameplay, not good enough for good boss fights, as Mr. Skinner. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's not good enough. It's just not suited for a final boss fight, right? It's not meant for one big final guy to fight. There's no way to implement a giant robot fight in a game like this. There might be, honestly. But if there was a way, they couldn't figure it out, or didn't try to hard enough, perhaps. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Where are we going in this game right now? Our way is blocked. Want me to climb something to get over this? If so, what? Something looks like a handhold over here. Hey. Oh. Welcome aboard, good Darian.
In here, Nadine.
When's the core gameplay? Huh? Also, Merry Christmas. Yeah, Merry Christmas, guys. Christmas Eve, that is. Merry Christmas Eve of Death. Death-cember. Yeah, I think a lot of games do that, right? Where you have a really cool, I mean, in the case of Metal Gear Solid, and in this game, I feel like, very cool core gameplay. Right? I love the core gameplay in these games. For what it is. But what it's not is great for boss fights. But, again, boss fights are a staple.
I see him. Okay.
They're a staple of video gaming in general. And so, especially when you're kind of want to get the credits rolling, you're like, we gotta kill somebody here for the end of the game. But how are we gonna pull it off? Well, if you can't think of anything better, they put in a mini game to do it. And that's kind of ass, I feel like, personally. I'd rather just do like, oh, fuck!
Shit! They blocked us again. It's a big city.
I'd rather do what Uncharted 3 did,
what is this place?
Which was just have no final boss fight.
Possibly both.
Just have a big encounter with a bunch of soldiers, and then have it be fun and exciting, the way the whole game has been fun and exciting. Maybe a little more challenging than normal if you want to. Then roll credits. Right, that works for me. Have you seen the giant Gundam they built in Japan's apples? I've seen a giant Gundam statue that animates somewhat. Is that what you're talking about?
Look.
Absolutely, escape is necessary.
There's some
Thanks, Super
coming up from
Metroid.
the pool.
I don't really mind that trope either. So where's this treasure? I have this new power-up, guys. Let me hear when treasure's nearby. There it is. Give me that. Yeah, so answer Shiva's question, man. Answer Shiva's question. Final boss and...
There's a passage in that pool.
Thanks, Nadine.
Oh, good point. That's our way out.
I really hated the final boss of Uncharted 4. It was a fitting end to that game, which I overall hated quite a bit. And they did Rafe dirty. They did all the characters in that game dirty in the end. I really feel like Uncharted 4 had a lot of promise with its story and its directing, and they squandered it to the extent that it's very frustrating. Like, wow, they really fucked it up. All the characters that had potential, they all got fucked up. They didn't actually seem to give enough of a shit in the end to really do what had to be done to make it good, insofar as the story was concerned. Treasure. But where's the treasure? I got up where? Was it down there?
Look up. We're in some kind of cenote.
Look up, huh? We're in a cenote? Let's go. Metal Gear Solid 3, the boss, your favorite boss fight ever, huh? I don't remember it that well. You have to ask Kiriko something about that. He's an obsessive fan of that game.
Coming.
Boss fights in Metal Gear Solid are always kind of a tricky matter. Where is it? Where's the treasure? I can hear it. Over here, I can hear it better. Underwater, there it is. Got him. Right? Yeah, okay. Alright, well, okay. Naughty Dog loves doing his characters dirty. Maybe that's just Neil. Who's Neil? Yeah, I think that Rafe and Nadine and Sam and you know, the tension between Elena, Drake, and Sully, they had a lot of potential in 4. But they just didn't do anything with it. They laid some groundwork that had a lot of potential, and they squandered it. Anything cool over here? The cut of his nose and profile reminds me of the Attack on Titan's manga faces, huh? Let's see if we can get a shot of that, of Chloe's nose. Yeah, I think it's not so much a cut as it is her hair, I think, right? I've never read the manga for Attack on Titan, so I can't really totally picture what you mean by that. Did you read the whole manga, Armani? Is it over now? Is it done? I think it is, right? I think someone told me that Attack on Titan's finished, finally. The anime's gonna catch up here pretty soon and be over.
Huh, look there. The Queen and her
Neil
handmaidens.
Druckmann, game director of Uncharted 4, Last of Us 1 and 2, and now he's the president of Naughty Dog. Huh? Okay. Vencabot, what are you actually griping about? A lot of things, as always.
Women actually played a big role in Hoysala society, particularly the queens.
Not surprised, with the kings and men going off to fight all the time.
They were also involved in the fine arts, poetry, music, that sort of thing. Balua was there.
Why do you think she stands like that, guys? Why do you think she stands like that? Not over yet, Shubi Jones. Almost. Attack on Titan. I'm not sure if it's finished, Manu. I'm still reading it, huh? I recently restarted. Okay. Do you want his brother that fathered the baby and Sully to die, says Apples? No. Oh, so you're talking about the storyline complaints. Really, I just wanted for there to be some payoff, Apples. For what I thought was a lot of potential in the setup. I think that the thing with Rafe went nowhere. He ended up being a total non-character. Nadine's whole thing went nowhere. Really, the whole thing with Rafe and Nadine, the whole point of it, apparently, was to lead up to them breaking up in the end. And for a game as long as Uncharted 4, for that to be the only thing they actually have going on between them was a total waste. I kind of thought that maybe, Nadine could, end up being dissatisfied with Rafe's whole angle and end up betraying him and joining us for a little while, and that could be cool. I was hoping maybe even Rafe would kind of rejoin us in the end, or he might have like more of an arc, or more of like a, see more of his cool persona kind of degrade over time to being more manic. They kind of hinted at that throughout the game, but didn't really go anywhere. The thing with Nate and Elena in that game was totally squandered, where there's this tension in terms of their marriage, which was a total tease. We have this thing where Nate lies to his wife, and it's like, oh man, he's really lying to his wife about this. He really has, this obsession with adventure and treasure and distrust for his wife. She wants him to settle down, and he just wants to, be an adventurer. I thought that was going to be like a big thing where there'd be some actual soul searching happening after that, or some development. But no, it was sort of they really kind of did the exact opposite of what they should have, I feel like. Where in the end, Elena comes around after he lied to her to go adventuring, his wife. He tells her a bald-faced lie about where he's going, what he's doing, basically cheating on her with Sam. And the result is that not only is she only mad for one cutscene, but then the game's, big twist in the end is that Elena drops her whole life to be an adventurer with him. So she comes around, basically. She comes around to Nate's way of thinking. That just blew my mind.
What is it?
Ancient Kannad script. Looks like stanzas. Could be poetry.
This place a library?
Seems so.
Cool. I didn't need Sully to die, Apples. I didn't need that at all. In fact, that would have been quite cliche if he had. But again, he had a thing going on in that game where he was kind of like the voice of reason, Apples. He had a thing where he was trying to convince Nate to do the right thing with Elena and to let go of the dangerous and vain adventurer's life. He's trying to be the guy like, dude, what's the point of all this? What are we doing out here? You have everything you could possibly want to be happy. You have all this good stuff in your life, and you can't appreciate it because you're always reaching for that one thing you can't have. That's kind of like the game's theme. Was he had all this good stuff in his life, and still he's reaching for the thing he can't have, that forbidden fruit. He couldn't, be grateful for for his blessings,
Fraser.
but was
over
always
here.
focused on what he didn't have, what he wanted to acquire. And Sully was like, dude, just let it go. And that went nowhere. This is weird. This is a really weird way to go about telling a story. Again, it was like a non-story. It was like an anti-story. It started somewhere, and then went nowhere. It would have been a better story told backwards. So there's more treasure on here. That's weird. Look, I figured his brother out, Shiva. That was the theme, right? Shiva Jones, you agree with that, right? It was a metaphor for an affair. Not that he was literally having an affair with his brother in an incestuous way, but rather that he was lying to his wife to go out, you know, on dates with this other guy. Who are we to decide what's good for who? Says Shiva Jones. Yeah, I'm talking about, you know, essential narrative structure. About character arcs and all that good stuff. Again, not talking about, you know, what themes should appeal, but rather just what essential, you know, storytelling, you know, functions were left unexplored. Yeah, it was just really weird that way. The whole game was like that. It was almost like it had two different writers. Like it's almost like someone came in with a story. They had a story they wanted to tell, and then they kind of fell off in the development, and then somebody else just didn't know what to do with it. Yeah, the whole thing with you know, the intro with at the prison with Rafe and Sam and Nate and their dynamic, that had so much potential. At that point, I really liked Rafe as, again, the rich guy who's kind of crazy. You know, smooth talking rich guy, making deals, talking fast, but also clearly driven and impulsive, violent. He could have been this dude that he was very dangerous. He had this sort of vibe about him was very dangerous. He's a very dangerous character because he was a nutcase, clearly. But again, he could totally affect this, you know, smooth, suave, powerful type, you know, persona. That went nowhere. Nate's motivation for hunting for treasure in 4 wasn't to find treasure. It was to save his brother's life from Alcazar. Yeah, but you know, that's another thing, right, Brian? That was another thing that's totally unexplored in that game. Because early in the game, that was a main conflict that went nowhere. It was, you know, is Nate's main focus for hunting treasure to save his brother? Or is it because he has that craving for adventure? Right? That was a question that was kind of posed and, you know, teased and hinted very strongly to be that it was a mix of the two, right? It was a mix of the two. Yes, he wanted to save his brother. He wanted to save his brother, yes. But that wasn't necessarily why he was doing it. Like, that's not why he lied to his wife, right? He lied to his wife because he was afraid that she wouldn't understand that he needed to go back to this life that she disapproved of. Which is fair. He had that internalized guilt because he knew unconsciously that that's what he wanted. He wanted to go out and be an adventurer. He wanted to go away from his wife and you know, be liberated again in that respect. But it went unaddressed. It went nowhere.
Incredible.
His wife was mad at him for all of one cutscene. Then they were kind of, you know, had some tension. And then she totally forgave him. And then again, in the very end, she came away to his way of thinking. I'm not saying that that's, you know, not a fair place to go, because they are a couple, and of course they should, you know, if he, I think that it kind of makes sense that, you know, he, like, you shouldn't say, okay, Drake, you can't be an adventurer anymore. That makes no sense, right? I mean, you could have done that, and it could have been very sweet that way. But you can't say to an audience of gamers that Nathan Drake, after the series ends, is no longer allowed to go on adventures because he's lost that drive.
It was a symbol of them.
Wait, so what are these?
Oh, yeah, it's more of those things, like she has. Oh, so maybe her dad had been here before? And he took this from there? And gave it to her? Is that why there's this emotional music playing right now? Good graphics. You guys remember when Faces got ported for the first time? There you go. That was this generation, right? PS4 generation.
Something big, all right.
You're like, oh shit, skin actually is kind of like skin these days.
That
That's
stupid
crazy.
bastard tell me.
You said it yourself. He wanted to keep you safe.
Aw. Brian says, yeah, we talked about how it would have been better if the Alcazar thing wouldn't have been a lie. Yeah, that was also a thing. But yeah, in general, I think that, you know, a question, you know, I think that Nate's motivation for going to find treasure was not to save his brother. I think that was what they were, that was like, you know, the theme.
No, we can't.
The theme was that, yes, of course it was,
Thank you.
but that he had this inner conflict in his character, if not consciously,
We have to get out of this alive.
that, yes, there was this peril, and yes, he was frustrated that his brother came out of nowhere and had to pull him out of his life, but at the same time, he was kind of happy, right?
Oh,
He was kind of happy that his brother had to show up and you know, this problem arose with Alcazar, and he had to kind of break out of his humdrum existence to go back to what he really wanted to do. That's why we had the intro. That's why we had the intro with him with the Nerf gun, right? Where he was in his attic shooting stuff with the Nerf gun, because he wanted to go back to that life. And this whole thing with Alcazar and his brother Sam was sort of like an answer to that problem. It was like his solution to put the Nerf gun down and pick up the real gun again. The feeling when you suffer from ennui is cool, man. Yeah. I don't think the next Naughty Dog game is going to do so well. Really squandered the good faith they garnered, says Shiva Jones, or emptied the cash rather. Well, I don't know. I think that when you're talking about AAA games and the audience that buys them, especially with exclusives to be even more demographically narrow, I think that you're going to see that people aren't going to necessarily remember, or most people won't. That if they were mad at Uncharted, The Last of Us 2, they're not going to really remember. How about this, Shiva Jones? Like, by that logic, when Capcom fucks over their customers, people wouldn't go and buy their next game. But they always do. They always do. And they're not even exclusive. They're not even, you know, they don't even have the same amount of marketing hype behind them. What do you mean Last of Us 2 was Game of the Year, says Mr. Skinner? Huh? I heard it won like everything Game of the Year. From some Game Awards from somebody. Yeah, but again, that went nowhere in Uncharted 4. The whole thing with Nate and his you know, his ennui. Ended up being a non-issue, like everything in that game. Yeah, cool. And today, in fact, I saw it on sale for $20 on Twitter. And it's almost time, cool. It's almost time. If I could get that with including shipping, I would go for it. Because I do want to play it at some point, just to criticize it, right? Not to say that I would hate it, but just to say that I want to analyze it, right? In the traditional definition of criticize. But my main thing is that I really want to. If I was going to play The Last of Us 2, I want to play Last of Us 1 first, and I don't want to play that again. But again, I would want to play it again to compare them back to back. But I don't want to play that again. That's why I'm not really picking up Last of Us 2 yet.
magnificent.
All this grandeur, hidden away from the world.
But how do we get over there?
Shiva Jones, I really feel, I appreciate you not spoiling anything, but I really feel as though whatever happened narratively in The Last of Us 2, and I'm going to be fucking 100% with you guys, all right? No disrespect to those that had a lot of attachment to the story of The Last of Us 1 and felt really betrayed in The Last of Us 2, but to argue that whatever happened in that game, narratively, compares to what the major publishers have gotten away with in terms of, you know, their marketing, their history with bugginess in their games or otherwise frustrating their customers over the years, it doesn't compare, right? It doesn't compare. Square Enix, Capcom, you know, Ubisoft, EA, they have pissed off their customers so many times, so profoundly, and they see very little, if any, you know, cost in sales from that. So to argue that because some character gets killed or whatever in The Last of Us 2 and that's going to affect sales for the next game, man, come on. Be real. So I played Uncharted, it's going to be The Last of Us 1, yes. And I didn't enjoy it at all, Skinner. No, not at all. Not me personally. I actually profoundly hated that game. When I say profoundly, I mean not just because I didn't like it, but because I kind of hated what it was like, what it was represented to me as a video game. Not so much the story, it was whatever. But as a game, I really couldn't stand its whole shtick. So I got a wham. That means it's down there somewhere. Some treasure. I think I see it even. Sploosh.
Come on.
I can hear it.
Deep enough.
There it is. Let me grab it. That game reminded me of, you know, to me, The Last of Us 1 is comparable to Uncharted 1, which is a game that I hated so much because of its lack of ambition. That really just drives me insane. Like the fact that these developers would make a AAA game and apparently have no creative vision, no creative, like, self-motivation to make something interesting, exciting, original. They didn't want to iterate anything. There's some games out there that are very unoriginal. Right. Let's, for instance, take a game like, you know, Saints Row, or what's one other one? Basically, I'm talking about GTA clones, you know, platformer clones. That, despite being clones, they're still really, really fun, and they had a vision, which was to iterate, at least in many cases, right? To take a game that was already good and say, what can we change to make this our game? What can we do better than GTA did? And oftentimes they're wrong. Sometimes they're right. Sometimes they're better at this, but worse at this, and end up being a worse game overall. But at least they had something that they were doing. Whereas games like The Last of Us and Uncharted 1 especially, it seems like they really didn't want to iterate. They didn't want to, you know, really express anything creatively with the gameplay. They just wanted to make the most basic thing they could and sell it with some technology on top in the hopes of making some really pretty screenshots and some nice trailers. Sell a bunch of games. Who's mapping? What's up, June? Pretty cool panel there. Hollywood as well, Steve. Yeah, Hollywood as well. But I'm talking more about games. You know me. I'm not really big into movies like you are, Steve. I know Steve's a movie man. It's more like you're just dying, Venka. All right, Stevie Jones. Then what was it? Just spoil it, dude. Just spoil it. I feel like we're just not going to be on the same page about this. All right, what you're trying to tell me is that something happened in The Last of Us 2 that is more profoundly frustrating for customers than things that EA has done and Square Enix and Capcom have done to their customers in the past. All these same guys that come back and buy their next game for free. I didn't like it when I first played as a Skinner, huh? But later times when I rewatched it, I came to think it wasn't as good as I originally thought. My thing with The Last of Us, it's a very simple game. It's a very, very simple game. Simple to the point of being brain dead, at least on normal difficulty. And again, the gameplay that's there is just, it's like a nothing. It's like a nothing game. That's the same I felt about Uncharted 1. Like, what are we doing? Why are we making this game? What are these ladies doing? Are you nuts? That's how you drown.
Okay.
I have never heard a quality argument against The Last of Us 2. Any more than I've heard a quality argument for The Last of Us 1. But people feel the way they feel. For the reason they feel the way that they feel. And that's fine. I think that some people, including me, misidentify why they feel the way they do about certain things. If you like something and you try to figure out why you like it, it can be kind of tricky sometimes. If you hate something and you try to figure out why you hate it, that can also be tricky. Sometimes I have that problem. I'll hate a game and try to figure out why I hate it, and I'll have an idea, but maybe it's not the idea. In fact, I'll oftentimes reanalyze my own criticisms of a game and go, okay, well, I might have been on point about that, but maybe I was wrong about that. You know, I said I didn't like this and I didn't like that, but that's not why I hated that game. maybe I kind of overblew, you know, how much this feature impacted my enjoyment of the game when really it was more this, or this, right? But I wasn't really aware of it at the time. When someone says, I hate this game because this, I don't doubt that they didn't like that feature in that game, of course, but that might not be why they hated that game after all. And likewise, if you really love a game and you think it's because of this, that might not be why you really love it. It's kind of hard. It's kind of a challenge to figure out sometimes. You have to do a lot of soul searching and a lot of, you know, forethought. But in any case, Cool Hand, one thing I do find kind of frustrating as a critic myself is when you read people's thoughts on a game, and it does seem sort of in bad faith or disingenuous or maybe just not fully, like, explored. Like, maybe if they actually are being genuine, they just haven't really explored their own feelings enough yet to really make a coherent argument. But, yeah, I've never really, so far, heard an argument for The Last of Us 2 being bad that I've been like, oh, well, that makes sense to me, and why you wouldn't like that. Or, oh, that makes sense to me, and why that makes it such a terrible game. I still hear treasure, it feels like. For one, they make you play as a character you don't like for half the game to convince you they are actually alright. Yeah, but again, that's nowhere near as bad as anything that EA has done, for instance. Keep going. Then they force you to fight the character you actually want to play as. Okay. I love those streams, says Steve, huh? Venka shits on everything and the game figure out which part is the problem, yeah. It's weak to say everyone wants to play as Joel. He's a pretty boring character compared to Ellie. Yeah, Shiva Jones is talking about the new characters, right? He's talking about, I've watched a review, Shiva Jones, I watched Nikki Jakes' review, right? You play as the villain, right? That's kind of the twist in that game. You play as Ellie for the first part of it, and you want to play as Ellie, then they make you play as the villain, and you gotta fight Ellie. Yeah, I know. They had an idea for, you know, to me, at least that was ambitious. Okay, to me, I can respect that. Hearing about it, you know, secondhand, it sounded like a cool idea. I can see why some people had a problem with it, especially if they're, you know, plebs. And otherwise, you know, if you want to play as a certain character, it's frustrating. How about Metal Gear Solid 2? Right? A game where you have to play as Raiden, people want to play as Snake. But that's a bad example, because it's another game where I think that history has shown that playing as Raiden was the right idea, and that people at the time that were pissed off that you had to play as Raiden were actually fucking nerds. And they had to fucking let it go. But anyway, you know, if you guys haven't heard yet, spoilers, in The Last of Us 2, you know, Ellie's main character, and then after you play as her, and they've established a main villain, they make you play as the villain, which you've been, you know, groomed to hate, and they try to convince you through the narrative by playing as this villain that, you know, there's two sides to every story, basically, right? And that, you know, the theme is that you hate this character. It's a game about hatred and how it can be very irrational and how it can be very, you know, very, like, oversimplified. You know, spend a day in somebody else's shoes, you might find they're not as bad as you thought. You know, it's a typical, you know, it's a good lesson. I think it's not, you know, a new thing in a lot of cases, but also it's something that's kind of unexplored in media in general, which I think is fair. I think typically in Western media, we're quite happy to have a villain that's just a villain. So to take a game like The Last of Us 2, which has an audience that's very broad, and to have this idea of, let's talk about hatred and try and figure out, you know, trying to teach people that, you know, the villain's not always strictly a villain, that's fine. And if you didn't like playing as her because you already hated her, that's cool. And if you played as her and still hated her, also cool. But to say that that's, you know, a profound issue comparable with the sorts of shenanigans that a lot of publishers have gotten away with over the years, I'm not sure that I can co-sign that. The hook of the game is the narrative, says Shiva Jones, huh? The hook of the game is the hype machine and marketing behind it, says Katie, huh? Cool as it's for games, the first one was great. Mr. Skinner says, no, it's going to be fine. That's my feeling, Mr. Skinner, yeah. Welcome aboard, I'm sorry, Wax My Ear? Or excuse me, Wax My Ear. Yeah, I'm on Team KD in this argument here. So both Coolahan and Shiva Jones are arguing that the hook of the game is that the first one was great. And I think that that's fair, because the first game was very well reviewed and very widely loved, and that was, you know, a hook of the game. But I think that The Last of Us 2, it sold gangbusters, and it would have sold gangbusters the same way that the first game did. Because of it being an exclusive game. That all the marketing had behind it of a typical Sony exclusive. You know, that was why it sold, alright? Let's fucking be frank here. Let's not fucking lie to ourselves. Yes, people bought it because the first game was good. But those same people that bought The Last of Us 1 before they knew it was good would have bought Last of Us 2 if it was called Last of Us 1. Right? People didn't wait to buy the first game before they heard it was good. They just bought it because it was an exclusive. It had a lot of hype behind it. It's because Sony knows how to hype its first-party Western AAA games, is Skinner, yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, I think that, again, of course, a lot of people did buy the game because they love the first game. Right? They bought it blindly, like Shiva Jones said, because they love the first game. That's true. But they would have bought it anyway if they didn't know the first game, if there was no first game, because of the hype. So I have to be a Team KD here, you know. The reason why people buy these sorts of games is because of the marketing. And that may be true of, you know, any AAA game. AAA Eastern games. Like Final Fantasy, Houlihan. Yeah, like Skinner, yeah. Final Fantasy. What else, guys? What's a AAA Japanese game or Eastern? Maybe says MMOs. I'm not sure those qualify. Mostly RPGs, right? In Japan. Maybe some of the Yakuza games going forward. Maybe not historically, but maybe going forward as we've seen their popularity sort of grow lately and their technology become much more ambitious. It's not even really about the games being good. Let's be honest. Just like Fallout and No Man's Sky and Cyberpunk, these games are likely to sell very well regardless of them being good games or not, yes. And again, my argument for the whole night has been the real sad part is not that a game sells well. It's that people will buy the next game even if that game, you know, did them dirty, or that developer. Even if you don't buy, even if the Last of Us fans are so pissed off that, you know, The Last of Us 2 kind of, you know, fucked them over, and they might not buy Last of Us 3 for that reason. I mean, to be honest, they still might, and they probably would. But even if, you know, they wouldn't buy The Last of Us 3, I think they would buy the next Naughty Dog game, widely speaking. Maybe not, maybe some wouldn't. Maybe a vocal minority would not. But I think Mr. Skinner is right. Naughty Dog's gonna be fine, guys. They made one game, pissed off a few of their fans. They're gonna be fine. The game got Game of the Year. It was very widely beloved. A vocal minority was really pissed off by the narrative. They're gonna be fine. Is that a Drake jump? I probably grab on down there, I guess. Have I been there already? When a company makes super solid first game, the second tends to sell well. We can move past that, says Coolman, yeah. So why didn't that other first-party exclusive zombie game sell as well? Which game are we talking about? A game that had a hype equal to The Last of Us 2? Days Gone sold really well, actually, especially compared to its mediocre critical reception, says Mr. Skinner. It didn't sell as well as... I never even heard of Days Gone, guys. Again, that's why it didn't sell as well, if it didn't sell as well. Again, The Last of Us 2 had an insane marketing machine behind it. I'd never even heard of Days Gone. Oh, shit! Looking forward, Neon. You almost killed us, Neon. You almost distracted Chloe. You almost fell to her death. Happy holidays, dude. It was a mediocre zombie game where you play as an edgelord biker dude. Again, that's news to me. You know, if it didn't sell as well, that's why. We're talking about marketing here. It had a ton of bugs and had bad reception at release. Look, Oomph. Never heard of Days Gone? Oh man, it's a must. It's an all-time classic. Think of Mr. Skinner. Why Days Gone sales are so much better than its reviews. There are more factors than exclusivity marketing, says Shiva Jones. Boy, I hope you're right, Shiva Jones. I don't disagree that there are literally more factors. There are many factors, literally. But are they significant? I don't know. You know, do they make that big of a difference? I'm sure they make some difference. But is it significant to the bottom line? I don't know. Does it matter if a game is good?
You all right?
I don't know.
Sorry.
I never played The Last of Us, and I know the entire plot of both games, having only watched 20 minutes of End Cruise Streaming Part 2.
Aideen Ross!
my god. What the hell?
Oh, that was cute. Little bonding moment here. We're busy, Nadine. We gotta fucking get with the fucking program here. Are you gonna lower me a rope now, or I do the whole fucking platforming part again? Yeah, I mean, again, sounds like Shiva Jones didn't like the storyline of Last of Us 2. So to him, he's not gonna buy Last of Us 3 or I guess buy future Naughty Dog games because of that. He felt really betrayed. As a huge fan of the first game's story, he felt as though the second game really didn't live up to his expectations of it in that respect. That's fair. I'm not sure I would feel the same way. Clearly, a lot of people didn't feel the same way. And some did, of course. So, it's good? Yeah, good and bad is subjective. Yeah, Shiva Jones' original point was that he figured the next Naughty Dog game wouldn't do that well because fans were so pissed off by their last game. And those same fans are going to be off the fucking wagon now. They're not going to be on board for their next game. And my argument was they almost certainly are still going to be on the wagon. And if they're not, we're going to have plenty of others that were not as hurt by The Last of Us 2. They're going to pick up the slack in terms of sales. I really feel as though they're going to be A-okay. How do I get up there? Oh, okay, weird. If the entire appeal of your game isn't gameplay, it's story, why not watch a movie or a TV show? Well, there are some types of stories that can be better explored through games, I feel like. The medium of interactivity then could be explored through movies. I think it's maybe a tired argument to say that if a game's main appeal is the story, let's say a game like, The Walking Dead or whatever, then,
Ready?
that's fair as long as it's using the medium in a way that's worthwhile, I guess. Or even if it's not. You could some people might want to fucking play a movie for all I know. They just enjoy that more.
God, I have a tight squeeze here.
Merry X-Men, D-Scott. Merry X-Men, everyone. It's going pretty well, D-Scott. We're having a very heated discussion right now about AAA games and, why people buy games.
Nice city you've got here.
The competition was Hades, which is a very high-quality roguelike, but clearly not on the same level as Cool Hand, huh? It's an okay game being touted as a masterpiece, says Shiva Jones. It won a lot of awards at the fucking Video Game Awards, which I really feel as though, maybe I'm wrong about this, but I really feel as though no one who takes game criticism seriously cares about, right? I think it's mostly just for little kids and casuals. Like the Game Awards, I don't think there's a lot of illusion people have that those games win because of how good they are. It's more about, their like production, I guess. Like their industry significance, perhaps. How about that? Their industry significance. Not so much, again, how good they are as games to play and have fun with and to experience as a gamer, but because of their industry significance. Ghost of Tsushima also had an argument by having better critic and user reviews, says Mr. Skinner, huh? Raging says he enjoyed the experience of watching it, at least, The Last of Us 2. To be fair, the main reason that game got high praise was because people hated The Last of Us 2, so they went to the next big thing, which was Ghost of Tsushima, huh? Well, that's kind of seems like kind of a stretch to me, but you guys might know better than I do. I haven't really been paying attention to that sort of thing. L1. Yeah, I guess there's like right now we have like two competing notions of a game's greatness happening in the industry and in our chat. I think that part of it is, I think that, there's a certain appreciation that goes into, like, when I say the quote-unquote industry significance, I'm talking about, like, the marketing, the size of the development team, the budget that went into it, the technology. All these things that create a game on the scale of, for instance, this game, right? This is a game you would never see from an indie developer. It's just got too much splendor going on, technologically speaking. You know, in terms of the research done to make all the textures, all the insane number of assets. Right? It is, in that respect, a great game. It's a game that, you know, it had a huge impact on the lives of everyone making it. It took years out of their lives. You know, there's a lot of money riding on it on the publisher's behalf. It's a game that, you know, a lot of people had a lot of, you know, hype for in terms of like anticipation. Right? Anticipation. Because the franchise is so well known. And in those respects, you know, it was a game that had a lot of impact. And in that respect, it was great, right? And there are other games out there that are games that are great because of their gameplay and their vision, originality, you know, passion. Games that, Hades had a much smaller team, of course, than a lot of its competitors. But that team was made up of very talented individuals, people that had a brilliant eye for graphic design, awesome musicians, a lot of programmers and game designers that spent an insane amount of time polishing and balancing and making a game that was extremely fun to play. You know, in a way that this game did not. This game clearly did not have that same ambition, right? The Uncharted Lost Legacy didn't have that same ambition to really blow minds with its gameplay polish. It really is just a very simple experience in comparison. And that's true of, let's say, The Last of Us as well, right? I'm certain that it is. You know, it didn't have the same ambition that the Hades did. It wasn't trying to be, an all-time, great gameplay experience. And the fact that Hades also had, again, the voice directing, again, the splendid graphics, there are those that say it should have been Game of the Year. And to those people, I totally understand that because, again, Hades' ambition was different from that of most AAA games. It had something to prove, it had something to prove. And it clearly had a lot of love put into it in kind of striving toward that goal. In a game like The Last of Us 2 or, Uncharted Lost Legacy, any game, AAA, because I'm playing it right now. I'm actually playing it. You guys can see it on screen, so it's kind of a good example. It's a game that, it's I think that the Game Awards, they reward games like this more. Which is to say, a game that, it's beautiful. People have a lot of anticipation for it. People have a lot riding on it. It's a focus of discourse, not just among a small sect of hardcore gamers on social media, but among, the whole gaming industry is talking about it because of its, again, marketing, because people are aware of it, put it that way. They have an impact that's beyond what Hades could achieve. I think that if you gave Hades Game of the Year, a lot of the audience for the Game Awards would be like, who? What? What game? What the fuck is Hades? Right? Even though, of course, people are talking a lot about it, obviously. Talking a lot about it on social media and on, on blogs and review sites. People are in love with Hades. But those are people that are, the hardcore. I think there's still a lot of gamers out there that are invested in some of the Game Awards that have no idea what the hell Hades is. Mage says Doom Eternal got it right, trying to be its own thing. Doom 2016 had a lot of their gameplay jacked from Brutal Doom and Project Brutality, huh? I can see the idea, says Steve, that if a game sucked, the next big game might look much better in comparison, but I don't see that on that level. Exactly, Steve, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure I can co-sign Mr. Skinner's argument that the reason why Tsushima is so well beloved is that the entire audience of AAA gaming that was disappointed by Last of Us 2 needed something to kind of cling to. Yeah, that's definitely a thing this individual's experience, but as like a zeitgeist, I don't know. Maybe not that level. Aha. What's up, Landon? Just want to pop in and wish you a Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Landon. Thank you for the praise on my fucking toboggan. Apparently in North Carolina they call it toboggan, Landon. Yeah, Merry Christmas, bro. Hope you find yourself having a mighty fine New Year as well, if I don't see you before then. Glad you can stop by. So I waited years for that game, Ghost of Tsushima. So I don't really have much to say about the awards, says Shiva Jones. I'm sorry, Mr. Skinner. I thought it was somebody else. I thought it was you. Oh, maybe it was that guy. my wax my ear. I'm sorry, it was wax my ear. Yeah, I think you guys have the same color name right now or something. No, I guess not. Right. I have no excuse then. I have no excuse. What word, by the way, wax my ear? I think he's kind of new around here.
Look of a doorway over here.
That'll work.
I love swimming in this game. I wish they could do it more. It's some of the best swimming I've ever experienced in any game, which is kind of surprising. You kind of think by the year 2020 we'd see more games that have full 3D swimming, but it's actually kind of rare. I think this is kind of ambitious. It's kind of hard to pull off well, I think, in a way that's actually fun. What games have the best swimming, guys? This game, I really like it. I like it in
Okay. Easy does it.
Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask as well.
What?
I wish there was more of it in that game too.
Water in my ears.
I hate that.
I wouldn't give her a towel. My God.
Where are we?
Serious? You know, at this point, I've run
Mario
out of
World is
words.
Neon, good swimming. Talk about fully 3D swimming in Neon.
Does work.
It'd be easier to name the worst and the best. I'll give me some examples, Skinner, of the worst swimming. What's the game where you really get really pissed off with the swimming?
Throne room. Place to hide a magnificent
Yeah, to me, swimming is kind of parallel to flying in video games. It's kind of dope to be able to actually move in, you know, all directions, up and down and left and right, and be able to explore in that way. I'm not surprised that since we have, you know, since 3D gaming has come so far, we don't see more games where they have this ambition to let me swim and like really let me fucking, you know, explore underwater. Old Tomb Raiders were pretty bad to Skinner the swimming. I do remember that, Mr. Skinner. Holy fuck. I do remember that. And being like, the controls were so whack. I remember like not being able to like figure out where the hell I was going. The camera would just go nuts underwater. I remember being really excited when GTA 5 introduced a submarine. And then feeling totally let down that it never came back. Was that not fucking weird as hell, guys? You guys remember that in that game? That game has an amazing underwater environment with great graphics, all kinds of cool like reefs and shit, and they don't do nothing under there, man. Like I think there's like a couple of collectibles under there, maybe at most. But in a game that had such amazing underwater gameplay, and again it being kind of an underexplored like gameplay style, I would have loved to see all kinds of more shit down there, man. Ooh, treasure. Vibe. Vibration. Aha. Yo, stakes is high. You take that back. What do you mean, Steve? Take what back? You know, like a submarine in GTA 5? Old Tomb Raider, best Tomb Raider. We're talking about swimming in those games in particular, Steve. I never played that much old school Tomb Raider. What I played I liked, except that swimming was pretty ass. I played DMC 1 for the first time a few years ago. The level of swimming were pretty bad, huh? DMC 1? Swimming? Don't even remember those parts, dude. I can't. You swim in GTA in DMC 1? I love DMC. It's there, dude. It's there. He wishes it wasn't, but it's there. He'd love to join me in a world where there's no swimming in DMC 1. That's the world I live in right now.
I see stairs going up.
Ooh, look how pretty the fucking
They're
water
mostly
looks.
broken.
I'll have to find another way up. Shit. I just realized something.
What, Nadine?
I
What?
think I know what it is.
That we're gonna
How's
need that
Chloe?
disc soon.
Exactly.
Well, not much we can do until we find a salve.
Or until he finds us.
Yeah, but he's already in there with the fucking disc. I don't think the swimming was that bad in Tomb Raider, says Steve. Huh?
See your way up?
I haven't played
Okay.
it recently. I couldn't tell you for sure. I do recall playing it and being shocked by like not being able to control the camera and it just going crazy and not being able to see where I was going underwater.
Nothing
Treasure
to climb this way.
everywhere. Treasure everywhere. This game kind of addressed the issue I had with previous Uncharted, which was to say that in those games, exploring oftentimes felt totally pointless because there was no treasure to find or any secrets to discover. This game, in general, exploring feels more rewarded and less pointless. Even though it's, you know, literally quite pointless. Like, even though the point is just to find an object, its only function is to get you 1% closer to completion, 100% completion. But I find that something about, you know, game design in a kind of abstract way, just that's enough for me. Just give me a cookie, man. Just give me a fucking cookie for doing a thing. Maybe that's in broad strokes what, you know, so much of game design is about. When you go underwater in DMC 1, it switches to first-person mode, and it controls really bad. At least been one level. Maybe. I have to play. I haven't played it in many years. I'm scared. Maybe I should play it again. I want to do like a series long play of DMC, not including 2. I mean, maybe including 2, but probably not. I gotta climb something properly, huh? I thought the gameplay in Last of Us 2, while much better than the first, was lacking. It even took a back step in level design, says Shiva Jones, huh? How do you mean, back to the level design, Shiva Jones? I mean, the first game didn't really have level design, so to say here it's worse, kind of, I find surprising. I mean, The Last of Us 1 was pretty much just hallways. There again, there was no actual, like, levels, it was just straight lines. And yeah, I see your argument. You know, your point is that all the gameplay might be slightly improved over the first one. Again, the real appeal is the narrative. So for the gameplay to be a little better was not really that big of a difference, which is something I appreciate. Aha. The new WoW expansion is getting good about that kind of thing. There are some really cool mounts that aren't that hard to get, but it's just a give me a cookie for doing a thing sort of reward. Yeah, I think in my case, speaking of game design, it's not so much that I always need a cookie, but it's rather that I really want to explore in a game like this. I want that to be a gameplay focus. I want to do the exploring and get a thing for it. And to have I feel kind of teased when a game has like a really explorable space, but it's just empty. It's just empty. But there's a certain thrill that comes from finding a secret or finding something hidden, right? And I really want to find those hidden things as a part of my psychology as a gamer. And so to find a hidden space, a hidden place, a hidden nook, and there not to be something there for me to grab up is frustrating. Did you guys hear a vibration somewhere around here? And then it went away? There is. Okay, there's treasure around here somewhere. Is it up higher? Maybe it's up there somewhere, huh? If I fall off this ledge here, can I just shimmy around here? And if so, is there treasure? Is this where I came from? I think it is, huh? That's where I came from, I think. I bet you it's up there. Yeah. Yeah, I watched Nicky Jakey's review of Uncharted, The Last of Us 2. He was also critical of the story. But I'm not sure I would be as critical. I think his point was that it was sort of it was kind of vain in that it was trying to convey a story about, you know, the dangers of hatred, but it told it in a way that was very much glorifying of violence. So it's kind of defeated its own purpose in that respect. That sounds more nuanced than a lot of complaints I've heard about that same issue, like the fact that you have to play this character you don't like and you never like them after that. I guess for me, and again, of course, we're coming from different perspectives insofar as I'm not really that focused on narrative in video games when I play. But to me, you know, the protagonist I'm playing as, I don't really care that much who I'm playing as. Like, this game has been 0% different playing as Chloe instead of Drake. If I was playing as Drake right now, it would not impact the game for me at all. If I were playing a character that I didn't like, let's say, for instance, I don't know.
I see a few more of those.
I mean, I hate all the characters in this franchise. I'm always playing somebody I don't like. But, you know, in the case of The Last of Us 2, you're really groomed intentionally to hate this character you're playing as, right? That's what they want you to do, is hate them. So it's kind of a slap in the face when they make you play them. But that was their ambition, though. That was their point. In fact, I gotta show some respect in that way. That was kind of, for a game with as broad of a demographic as The Last of Us 2, for them to try something like that, it seems quite ballsy. And I would be inclined to reward them for that, rather than condemn them for that, even if they didn't pull it off successfully. Level design in terms of what you can in different corners of the level that would make it worth going there. Well, again, I felt like in The Last of Us 1, there was never any reason to go into a corner. They had, throughout the whole game, there was like, what, like fucking 10 collectibles? And they were really strewn about very sparsely, obviously, when you have that few of them over the course of the whole game. And likewise, like I never felt like I felt like none of the loot you would find in The Last of Us 1 was as interesting as even this game's treasures, which are very, very basic. They're just really a 3D models for you to enjoy on the treasure screen. And they give you percentage completion. I liked his critic on Rockstar's game design as well as Wax My Ear. Yeah, he's a really great channel, guys. Check him out, Nakey Jakey. Really cool. He's always very thoughtful in his criticisms. There's a ton of stuff like that. It really rewards you for checking out the new zones of Steve, huh? That sounds like it would be very cool. I think that more games need to be more considerate of that. And having felt, really in The Last of Us 1, having felt like they really missed the point. Why is my controller... Where is that treasure? I don't want to miss this treasure at all. I really want this treasure really bad. It's supposed to be over here somewhere, right? It's gotta be. I'd rather have a game with a great gameplay and a mediocre story than a game with mediocre gameplay and a great story. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not fair for me to say either. I think I would as well, Katie, but at the same time, if I played a game that had mediocre gameplay and like a truly life-changing story, then that's fine. I'm here for that. But how often does that happen? For me, not that much. But there are those that say that's how they felt about, The Last of Us 1. Stories are very subjective, of course. There are those that felt like it was really profound to them. I didn't feel the same way about it. Where is this fucking treasure, man? Oh, I think I see it. Can I drop down here? If I could, it wouldn't go where I wanted to go. Okay, so there's something hidden down there. Yeah, I think that my thing is that if the gameplay is not there, then for me, your story better fucking be there. Aha! But is this a... Can I fall and not die here? I'm not convinced I'm not going to die if I fall. I'm going to try it. Oh! Holy fuck. But that may be the product of how I grew up playing video games. Now, the story is in most of the 16 to 32-bit era games were fairly straightforward, but the gameplay is good, and I almost never cared. For me, the first time I cared about a story in a game, KD, was in Final Fantasy Tactics. That game's story made me go, whoa. Games can have stories? That's crazy. And after that, I started to care a lot about stories in games. But I played FFT because of the gameplay, not because of the story. But the story was really enjoyable for me. But I can see myself, there are some games that I've played where... How about, like, my go-to example, KD, is a game like Legend of Mana. Legend of Mana is a game that I love. It's one of my all-time favorite games. The gameplay is very, very simple. It's not very challenging. It's not that deep. Well, it is very deep, but it's not like deep in terms of like what you have to do to survive, which I prefer nowadays. It's deep what you can do. There's a lot of stuff going on mechanically that you can explore if you really wanted to. Could I have climbed this if I wanted to? No. But what really makes it so good to me is the presentation, the fact that it's an experience, it's immersive, it pulls me into a world that I find fascinating. And, and that's another example of a situation where, it's about the story and the graphics and the music and everything that you could just get from a movie. But the fact that it's a world you can explore in terms of, interactivity makes it something that can only be told through the medium of games. And I respect that. Yeah, I wouldn't have rather watched a movie of it.
One thing at a time.
Right.
That being said, the gameplay was kind of mediocre. But I love it because of, what else it does. Chicho says, since Star Ocean 2 and Metal Solid for me, huh? Those are the games you care about the story. But I don't need that in a game. Right? I don't need a game to have a great story, as long as the gameplay is there. And again, if I play a game that's a kind of iffy gameplay, then I really need something else there to really pull me in. I really do. You really can't... for me, a game like The Last of Us 1, again, teach their own. But the gameplay was really, 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 really bare bones. Really, really nothing going on there. And to me, the story was very much the same. It was a very blah, color by numbers sort of a story. If the story had been something that, again, would stick with me forever, a game that would have blown my mind in terms of its story, as it did for many people, it seems, I might feel differently. I almost certainly would feel differently. But to me, it was not the fact that it was story-focused that was the problem. It was a problem that the story was just not good enough for that for me. right? It just wasn't good enough to carry the game. So Change Me says here, oh, Star Ocean second story, huh? Goddamn, what a classic. What a classic. You guys love Star Ocean games? Do you guys love how in Star Ocean the dialogue has this really bizarre lilt to it, where the characters just never say anything? I love Star Ocean's gameplay, man. I never cared that much about the story in those games, to be honest.
I'll give this a spin.
But what kind of blows my mind, especially about Star Ocean as a franchise, is their bizarre dialogue design. They just talk about nothing.
Lower, right hand. Maybe it's because this statue's enormous. But I just now noticed Shiva's got a king cobra for a necklace.
Talk to me.
That's Vasuki, a king of the Nagas. Entities that take the form of the king cobra. It shows his control over fear and death.
Ooh. Fear and
Cobras
death?
were always my
That's
favorite
sick.
snake.
Don't think I have a favorite snake.
Can I get this treasure over there? I can see it, right? Can I see a shiny over there? Yes. How do I get over there? Probably using that hand or that arm. If I play a game with no story or a story, it better be a fighting game, Stupid Jones. You don't really into other genres. You need a story otherwise, huh? Mario, Sonic, Castlevania, Contra, Punch-Out, Zelda, Metroid. Not really known for their amazing stories, Katie. I guess Stupid Jones doesn't like those games, I guess.
Okay, now what?
Call of Duty,
There's got to be more to this.
Unreal
Just
Tournament.
need to figure out what it is.
Pretty much the vast majority of the game industry is not really story-focused.
Coming?
And when they are, it's oftentimes a really ass story. But there are those that enjoy them. It's like the burst is all trash, dude. All trash. I don't think Steve Jones saying they're all trash, but rather that they don't appeal to him. He's not really into games. He really cares about the story a lot, I guess, in games. That's his main thing. They're not fighting games. But yeah, I guess to me then, I don't know. It sounds like what Steve Jones is saying to me is that he really doesn't like video games, I guess. Again, I mentioned earlier that I kind of wanted to challenge Katie Alpha in that for a game to focus on story, then I'm not saying that it necessarily would be better as a movie or otherwise should be a movie, because there are stories you can tell that benefit from the gameplay experience, even if it's a very simple gameplay, even just barely interacting, just having the world to explore. But that being said, to say that, a game, if it doesn't have a good story, then you're not interested in it at all, it makes me wonder, like, if you don't care about gameplay at all, or at least enough that you find it could sell a game to you, then I'm inclined to ask, like, are we still talking about video games anymore, or what? Fullbacks, what was the last best game with a great story? Well, again, storylines are, great stories are totally subjective, right? I mean, there are those that would say Last of Us 2, right? That's a game that people love the fucking story in it. People, I'm sure, must have got best story award at Game of the Year. The Game Awards or whatever, from what I hear. It won like everything, right? It was very story focused. People probably got a lot from it, you have to assume. Otherwise, great stories, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't play a lot of games that I feel like, oh, the story's amazing. To me, I'm focused more on the gameplay, first and foremost. And then, beyond that, can I climb this guy's fingers from here? I guess I kind of can. Beyond that, there are some games that, have passable stories. But for ones that I got so invested in that, I don't know, changed my life, or I think about this very day, probably a long time ago. Witcher 3 to Mr. Skinner, that game had a great story. I played COD Modern Warfare for the campaigns of the Neon Ride, huh? Yeah, that game was legendarily had a pretty fun story. People enjoyed that campaign a lot. It has I'm not even a fucking shooting game player. I kind of know what happened in that game story from hearsay. Can't climb this. That's bullshit. I play Castlevania, Metroid, and Sonic because they hold a place in my heart on nostalgia. Okay. Well, I guess that's where I'm going to end that. That's as far as we're going to go in that direction, I think. Conversationally speaking. Super Meat Boy? Yeah, it's pretty much no story, yeah. Yeah, I think that most games have no story. Even games that have a story have no story, right? That's just, I think that even games that have a story, and I'm not trying to be critical here, but I'm saying that games that have a story, I'm saying that from the development side, they have no ambition to tell a story. I'm not saying that, the story sucks, it's a non-story. I mean, from the actual developer's perspective, I think a lot of times story is there as a framework for a video game to kind of operate within, and that there was never actually an ambition, and many times, to actually convey a story that's meaningful. That's fine, because they're video games. They're meant to be played, not to be enjoyed narratively, necessarily speaking. And there are those that do have a strong focus on story. That's great. If you want to have a story focus, tell a story. That's cool too. I think that the majority of games that come out are, they're games first. They're games to be played. They have rules. They've got win states. They got a challenge for you, and that's really their focus, is to overcome this challenge using the rules. And then see the credits roll when you're done, and then be like, well done, well done. Get a high score. If the gameplay is great but the story is okay, I'll keep playing. So it's Shiva Jones, though. So again, your point, Shiva Jones, that you won't play a game without story. That's just what you said, Shiva Jones. That's what you said. Your exact words were, if the game has no story, or a mess story, you'd rather play a fighting game instead. And my response was, what? And it still is, but to each their own. You argued that the classic games you'll still play because they're nostalgic to you. That's pretty much the only reason. And I'm like, okay, well, that's as far as I can go in that respect. That's as far as I'm willing to follow you, because those games are classics for a reason. They have all-time great gameplay. To say that they can be enjoyed as a way to look back on your childhood, and that's pretty much the only way you should enjoy them. All right, I can each their own, but again, that's as far as I can go. Video games are video games, yeah. Pancakes is pancakes. Again, it's totally subjective, of course, to each their own. But that's as far. When someone tells me that they'll play these classic games just because it's a way to kind of look back on childhood and kind of fondly remember them, that's where I tap out. You've gone where I can't follow. We've stopped discussing, video games and game design when we can write off the classics that easily. I don't feel any vibration here. It sounds to me like, again, supposing that Shiva Jones is in his right mind.
Nothing to climb on.
And he's aware of what he's saying.
Fraser, we can jump to the platform from here.
What he's saying is just that he really doesn't play video games. He really just wants to have a good story, and then he'll play a game that has a good story. Or if it's a fighting game. Right? And again, that's what he likes. That's fair. He's not really a gamer per se. And a lot of people aren't. He's there first and foremost for the story. He's there to be compelled in his heart. Not so much in his, not looking for a challenge necessarily. Well, I think that when we talk about narrative in games, Katie, I want to, while we're here, Katie, and we're talking about, we're being kind of analytical, let me lay some groundwork here, first of all. When I talk about story in games, I'm not talking about like an actual story, like a movie story or like a book story. I think that if we're talking about story in games, we need to talk about how that has to include things like Shadow of the Colossus or other games. Again, I mentioned Legend of Mana, where you are pulled into a world, and that world compels you because of its presentation and the directing in a way that is removed from, the game feel, the controller, basically. Right? To me, I include that lumped in with a game story. If a game like Shadow, I guess what I'm trying to say is that although Shadow's story is hardly there, I think that when you talk about Shadow of the Colossus, you are talking about a game that's loved because of its quote-unquote story, or its narrative, or its direction, whatever you want to call it. There are those that love it because of, the world that it creates, the same way that a movie might create a world or a book might create a world. I'm talking about story. Coolhand's back. Says, I noticed I missed a mention of shitty Witcher 3, huh? Bad game is bad. Fight me IRL, he says. Did someone say story? We're talking about story, Jim. I'm glad you're here. I feel like you can contribute some very hot takes. But I think we're just about done talking about it. I kind of feel like I'm starting to, like I'm maxing out. I'm maxing out. Like, we were talking about story Coolhand, about story Witcher 3. So some of you might have been on Team Witcher 3 in that respect. It doesn't really have a story, TV Jones, yeah. The story is what? Just a guy shows up, girlfriend's dead. That's really as far as it goes, right? Horse dies, spoiler. That's Katie's point. And my point was that I feel like when you're talking about criticism of games, and you're talking about story in games as like a separate entity from gameplay, I think you have to include the world as part of the narrative, so to speak. It's not a traditional story being told, without, there's no dialogue, no action necessarily, but it is a part of the narrative, even if there's no actual, like, what you might call a story, traditionally speaking.
Here we go.
Imagine a man needing saved, huh? We're playing games here, bro. Guy loses girl, works to get him back, huh? Get her back. I'm saying, Coolhand's like, dude, come on. A guy needing help? That's ridiculous. Be realistic. Whoever needs help. Women, children, the disabled, but not men. Animals sometimes, cats and trees and whatnot. Generally, too. Now there's a game with a narrative, huh? And the world, chef's kiss. I think we have a tendency to oversimplify narratives to make the argument that there's nothing there. Well, I mean, every story there's something there, right? I mean, to be human is to perceive a story passively. Of course, when Bowser kidnaps Peach, there's that part of us that can say, oh man, I know what it feels like to have something precious taken from me. It's very heart-wrenching. I might, go jump on some Goombas to go save the girl I love. But it doesn't mean it's like, it's not exactly a masterpiece. Just because you could, read into it as deeply as you want. I'm a gamer. I got no time for the whamming. Not real, mentions Katie. There's more narrative in a single season of NBA 2K than there is in most video games, says Katie. You can't compare most games to the story of NBA 2K, the godfather of games. So if I drop down there, where would I end up? Well, I kind of have to go down there, right? I think I fell down. Can I climb up here? Maybe I can. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure I can co-sign without hearing more of this argument that Shiva's trying to make. I'm not sure I can co-sign it. Because, yeah, I mean, obviously a game like Super Mario Brothers, there's effectively no story. But again, if you wanted to read into it, you could, as far as you wanted to. It doesn't mean that there's a story. I think that, I think the Shadow of the Colossus story is very much like Super Mario Bros., right? Boy wants to save girl. What more do you want to read from it? Does complexity make something a masterpiece? I would just, no, certainly not, Shiva Jones, certainly not. No, in fact, oftentimes it can detract from a story to have it be overcomplicated. But I think once you have a certain point, I think that once you hit a certain level of simplicity, you do reach effectively nothing. Right? And once you become simple to the point of, effectively just being a trope, then you have hit the point where your story is a non-story. It can, Kitty, you're right. I'd say complexity just as often makes a story interesting as it does make it uninteresting. A favorite example of a small but fun story is Ghosts and Goblins. You're just trying to have a picnic with your side piece, get your armor oiled, when the devil shows up and snatches your babe. I'm glad you're here, J-Bomb. Now you're going to fuck them up. That's all the story you need. No, it doesn't have to be complex at all, you're right. But I think that when you have simplicity in a story and no complexity, then what you're talking about is something that has to be very profound. And something maybe original. Something that's maybe underexplored. But in many cases, these stories in video games are none of those things. They're not original, they're not underexplored. They're nothing but a trope. Typically, save the princess. For Ghosts and Goblins was a boring or bad game gameplay-wise, is the story still passable, huh? Probably not, I would guess, says Katie. I think no one's playing Ghosts and Goblins for the story. That's our point, right? Nobody's playing Ghosts and Goblins for the story. You would hope. I guess my point, J-Bomb, as long as we're being 100 here, is I don't need character or motive. My motive is self-motivated. I want to play the game. If the game is fun, I want to play it. I don't need a in-story motive, in-universe motive. If my motive to play a game is that the game is interesting to me, you know, in terms of its, you know, gameplay, and I want to play it, that's my motive. You know, I don't think, I mean, I guess maybe I'm not sure if this is a unique experience. I assume it's not. But in fucking Double Dragon, when the game starts and your girlfriend gets punched in the stomach and carried away, I was not compelled to play the game any more than I already was compelled to play it. I mean, it's not as though I didn't want to play the game already. That's why I booted it up. And then when he punches her, blam, and carries off, I'm like, oh, let's fucking get this guy. Let's go fucking play this game now. I was like, I already want to play it. To me, that cutscene was pretty meaningless. I mean, it was funny. It's funny. And it does provide, you know, a little bit of a story there. It was a cutscene, which is always a pleasure. And in that era of gaming especially. But again, to see Bowser kidnap Peach or to see, you know, whatever happens, I don't find that to be a motivating factor for me playing a game. That breezy meant nothing to me, says Sneak. That's what I'm saying, dude.
Okay, I've got
Who was
this
she?
one.
Some thought.
I've got this one.
How can you not be fuming, Venga? The devil took his girl. Yeah, I think there's not many that disagree with that. I think that's not a controversial statement.
Shiva lending a hand again?
But I do think that we got to be clear with our language here. Right? If we're talking
And
about...
here comes Shiva's drum.
If we're talking about motivation in games and saying that in the intro to, you know, in argument, the intro to Ghosts and Goblins
better get a move on.
provides that motivation, I'm not sure that's necessarily true. Is it crucial? Does it make the gameplay any more fun? Maybe not, but it's a more engaging experience, huh? The devil kidnaps your girlfriend. Yeah, I think it's cute. I'm glad it's a cute little cut. It's funny. But I'm not sure it gave me any more motivation to play Ghosts and Goblins. Maybe you guys disagree. Maybe you guys did feel more motivated. Oh, we gotta do it
I think
fast.
we're supposed to be on that field.
Well, let's give it another go.
I genuinely didn't feel more motivated to play it from having seen the devil kidnap my girlfriend.
Bringing down Shiva's drum.
There have been times where a game's story has motivated me, but in those cases, it's almost always have been a story I would call, you know, good or interesting.
We'd better get a move on.
If I really, really have been made to hate a character or to love a character, I can be motivated to kill them or save them, respectively.
An hourglass.
It's an hourglass-shaped drum.
There have been times where I've been like, oh, let's fucking get this guy, and I actually have felt genuinely like that really made me want to finish a stage or
Hey,
something.
hey, now.
Grab onto something.
Okay, steady. Oh, and we're good.
Okay, that's cool, I guess. Interesting that it went from being climbable to being stand-downable. Nothing has done that in the whole franchise so far. Speaking of Ghosts and Goblins, any of you guys play Maximo, huh? That game is godlike. I never did play it. Did it get a remaster recently? No, I'm thinking of Medieval got one, and what else got one kind of recently? One of those games in that sort of style. I played Metal Gear Solid 5 recently, I must say. I put many hours into that game. Yeah, same here. Because I was addicted to the gameplay. Yeah, I think that's not unusual. Berdrinka agrees, Maxwell's pretty tight. Berdrinka, welcome aboard, man. It's a pleasure to have you, always, 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 always. This dude. The quintessential lurker. Awake in the chat, hanging out. If Maximum had one, I have to play it, huh? A remaster. Don't think there was. I'm thinking of Medieval. There was one other one, though. I don't think it was Maximo. The story is what you make it for the most part, says Shiva Jones. I think there are gameplay-focused games that have a pretty good story. There are games that are focused on story that have okay gameplay, or pretty good gameplay, enjoyable gameplay. There are games that are really, really focused on story, like having a great story, and the gameplay is fucking ass. There are games that have really, really, really great stories, really great gameplay, but the story is frankly fucking ass. There are games that have godlike gameplay and literally no story at all whatsoever. There are games that have amazing stories that'll blow your mind and change your life that have almost no gameplay whatsoever. Just enough to be called a game. And if you want to enjoy those things, for whatever reasons you have, that's cool. That's cool.
Just don't get killed.
Not up to me.
Water slides?
It's running all the way down to the hill.
That's cool.
Jimmy was playing a game one time. The story was
on the
incredible,
other
but kept me
side.
engaged for hours. But the graphics were shit and the
Always,
gameplay
yeah.
sucked.
Sure
Turns out I was
thing.
just reading a book, huh? Nothing wrong with that, dude. To choose your own adventure. Water slides. What am I grabbing here exactly? Ow. What am I supposed to grab? She's reaching for that thing, I think. It's necklace. I think. Oh, come on, girl. Your hand's reaching out. I think when her hand is reaching means you can survive the fall, I think. I'm gonna go back up there again. There for the subs, in theory. Hey, Venka, I hope this holiday season has been treating you well. I would say it has been, in theory. It has been indeed. You know, all life has its strifes, dude, right? There's always something that's, you know, that's keeping you pinned down emotionally. But the fact that I'm still hanging out with you guys still, and having some good food to eat once in a while, and having a safe place to stay, that's really all a man needs, I think. And I'm more well off than many of my peers in this world. The fact that I've got the bare essentials, and I've got more than that. I've got you guys. How's this game been for Drinka? Dude, it's been fucking... Well, it's been mixed. Like everything in this franchise has been mixed. That's where we differ, Shiva Jones. To me, the gameplay in The Last of Us was not decent. It was indecent. And I also hated the story in that game, and others loved it. This game, like all games in this franchise, Badrinka, is like... It has its ups and downs, man. It has ups and downs. Right now, we're in a down. But it has its ups. I'm hoping that before terribly long, we're going to get back to a part of the game I actually love. But right now, I'm just kind of going through the motions. In all cases, the game has to have decent gameplay, IMO. If it doesn't, I won't continue. Yeah, for me, The Last of Us' gameplay made me want to kill myself. I openly hated it. Every minute I had it in my hands, from here, between here and here, you know, my brain, my eyes, to the hands, the controller, I hated The Last of Us. To me, it was so fucking boring. Where are we going? It must want me to climb up, which I can do. We're playing as two girls in the water slide area. Quite frankly, I hope this part of the gameplay gets very indecent. Oh, wow. If 2020 has shown me anything, it's that safety is priceless. To be able to work and stay safe is not a choice many have, and that alone is something to appreciate. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Well said. There's up with Prime QB, welcome aboard. We got Itzio Q. QB the Legend, aka Senior Quincy. The Quinzmeister. Where the fuck does this game want me to go right now? I can't climb any higher. This is where it put me. But I'm not supposed to slide down there in the first place. I slid down. Well, there's a waterfall now. Dropping on this hand, okay. Went back to QB416, just looks cleaner. It's Q, people can't get it right, huh? People still saying it's Yak, it's Yoke. It's your boy, Yak. She reaches out like she's going somewhere. As a mechanic in the game, she's supposed to reach when she wants to grab something, I thought. But what? What's she trying to grab? I don't think she's supposed to grab anything over there. I slid off there and grabbed this. I think it's supposed to help me survive, if I had to guess. It's supposed to help me survive the fall, this point of this rope. I mean, I can really get swinging if I wanted to, but again, where am I going? She's really reaching for something. I'm gonna go for it. I mean, reaching means you can survive, so... She's reaching, she's gonna go somewhere. Hup! Okay, is this progress? I don't know, it doesn't feel like it. Maybe it is. Go across, girl. How come we don't want to go across? Can I do something special to get across there? There we go. What's up, Eddie? I just have to be interested in the story as I am in Marvel's film story, huh? Just to care enough to keep going, I guess. Not the best, but good enough somehow, huh? Yeah, and for me, I don't even hardly pay attention to the story. I play this game all the way through and have not watched one cutscene without talking over it. The story means nothing to me. So I'm here. This is nowhere, though. Do you guys know who Bay Area Sunrise is? No, I don't. See a player on PS4? Sometimes, yeah. So I agree that a trope can be made great. I mean, it's a trope for a reason. Right? It's typically pretty compelling. Depending on the execution, it can be great. There have been times I felt that way. For me, The Last of Us was not one of those times. For me, I felt like it really just did the bare minimum. It did the bare minimum. Great characters can also be good replacement for a good story in a video game, says Skinner. That's true, too. And again, I consider that to be part of the quote-unquote narrative, right? And the same, talking about, you know, me and KD discussing what counts as quote-unquote story in a video game, because it's not a medium that tells classical stories. So I consider some things to be part of that game's story or its narrative that are not literally, you know, its actual story. You know, if you have a good character that's enjoyable, even if the story itself is, you know, not really, like, you know, there. If you enjoy the character, I consider it to be part of the game's story score, right? And, you know, to say that, you know, that it's unfair to maybe appreciate a game like Dark Souls for the quote-unquote story, or a game like the Shadow of the Colossus, right? It's a game that its story is really told through experiencing the world itself, even if the actual story itself is not got a lot going on. Marvel movies, I should clarify this, Katie. Marvel's an example of bare minimum zero effort tropes. We're talking about criticism, Lesson Zero. Talk about criticism of video games. Kind of been talking a lot about that all day today so far. About, you know, judging games based on their stories, their gameplay. What does the game got to provide, really, for you to really enjoy it? What does the game need to have for you? Especially in terms of the balance between story and gameplay. I've been arguing that, for me, a game doesn't need story and it barely benefits from it most of the time. Most of the time, a game will barely benefit from having a story at all. A good story, I'm glad it's good. But for me, you got to have good gameplay, it would seem. I also made the point that there have been games I've played that have had pretty whack gameplay, but such a story that was so good that I would forgive it. It's because fandoms rail against all criticism, even if it's fair or warranted. Yeah, people don't like criticism, man. It's negative of things they like. You don't want somebody to not like something you like or to talk bad about it. On a very fundamental level, that's very annoying. I think it's important, though. It's one of those things where you got to get past that first, you know, gut reaction of, man, fuck you. And be like, okay, well, you know, let's talk about this. Let's analyze this. Why do I like this thing? Am I okay with why I like it? That's another thing, right? Sometimes people like things, and if they thought really hard about it, why they like it, they make, oh, shit. Maybe I shouldn't like this thing. That's fair, too. I gotta go to that side and do the same thing with that. There's a wheel. Did I ever turn that wheel over there? I think that's how I got the Shiva hand to go over there, right? Anybody here buy Cyberpunk? KD bought it, I think. Well, he didn't buy it, per se, but he's been playing it. I've heard that most people who are against criticism are just insecure about enjoying what they like, says J-Bomb. There's that aspect of it. But I think it's, you know... I think that people get very invested in what they like, right? They get invested. And that's fair. You like the thing. You want to get invested in it. I think that when part of your identity is tied to this thing that you like, then when people criticize it, it's painful. And I think that when people say that, you know, your fandom shouldn't be a part of your identity, that might not be totally fair. I think it's hard to avoid when something means something to you that profoundly. But I do think that if someone criticizes your identity, you need to be open to that. As not like a personal attack, but rather maybe they're just trying to, you know, understand you better. You know, or even if, you know, we don't like the same things, even if I dislike something that you consider to be part of your identity, doesn't mean that I dislike you. You know, maybe it does mean I dislike you, right? But in that respect, we don't have to all like each other. Maybe we have to, you know, that's the way we kind of come to an understanding with each other. Have I been up here yet? Am I a fucking idiot? I have been up here. Okay, never mind. I'm still probably an idiot, though. I acquired it, says Katie, huh? I think there's nothing wrong with liking things that may suck or not everybody loves. But when you like it so much it's beyond criticism in your eyes, you have to look at why you feel so strongly about it, huh? I think that there's, I want to, as long as we're being philosophical here about, you know, art and identity and whatnot. Let me add this, Katie. If you love something so much that it's beyond criticism, that's fine. That's fine. But then I feel like you need to also kind of take yourself out of the discourse. Right? Like, really, I have no problem with people liking things so much that they cannot be criticized, you know, in their eyes. It's just, you know, past that. That's cool. But if you're getting salty about it on social media and you're getting very, you know, belligerent and you're being, you know, sort of, you know, you're white knighting your you know, being an asshole, that's really where the problem starts and ends, right? Not that you like the thing, that you wouldn't criticize it. Or even if you're pissed off and other people do criticize it, right? If I love a thing so much that when you criticize it, I'm like, man, fuck Katie Alpha. But that's not really the problem. The problem is when I then come and at you and be like, yo, what the fuck? This thing is godlike. Dick says, who's talking about Dark Souls 2? Things I know are bad, I still enjoy, have guilty pleasures. I was so into GTA San Andreas that when the twist at the end happened, it gave me trust issues, huh? What twist was that, Lesson Zero? What twist are we talking about? So Katie loves it for Fate, but there are very fair criticisms of that game. It doesn't sway my opinion or feels about it, though. So despite the game's flaws or ire, I still consider it one of the best in the series. Yeah, and you can do that. That's your fucking tier list of Final Fantasy games, man. Nobody can take that from you. It's not their fucking business. Alright, so this is where I'm stuck, guys. This is where I'm stuck in this game right now. There's a water slide. That's dope. Who doesn't like a water slide? But when I swing off of it, and I fall off and I grab a swinging spot, and it seems to go nowhere. That seems very counterintuitive for this game. Why would I jump off of a water slide and grab onto a swing-a-majig and not get anywhere from that? I need to open up another waterfall on the other side. Let's just go over there. That's what we got to do, right? For sure. For sure, we have to basically make it symmetrical. That's just game design 101. So I don't want to be here. I want to be on the other side, on the other shoulder. That was a fun little glitch. Whee. So I want to get up there. Sure I do. But how do I do that? What's with this fucking spear? I haven't played with that yet. Yeah, that's probably what it is. I cannot get high enough to grab onto that up there. There's no way. Unless I can shimmy down a little bit. Well, I kind of can. But I don't think I can get high enough, though. Dark Fear, I will, yes. Been thinking of that game a lot today. Well, J-Bomb, why don't you fucking play it, dude? It's only like $3. You might enjoy it yourself. I think you haven't been watching it from the beginning, right? You might find it still got a lot to offer you in terms of, like, puzzles and stuff. You haven't been too spoiled. Whee! He liked the Lamau, huh? You gotta team up with Bowser to some new guy. To fight some new guy, I guess. I think that Bowser's an underused playable character in the Mario series. I think that, you know, he's a bad guy. Maybe even the bad guy. But, at the same time, come on, man, it's been many years. Let's give Bowser something. We can play as Bowser now, I feel like. He got his ass bounced. I can climb this. Or can I? Not really. Not from here, anyway. There's a wheel there I haven't toyed with yet. See, I'm a dumbass. I'm an idiot. I'm truly a goofball. So you meant like Bowser's Inside Story. That was one of those Mario and Luigi games, right? I think Dick's probably played those games knowing him. Sounds like a Dick's game to me. He's the bad guy, but he isn't a bad guy. It's alright.
That's crazy. Are you doing that? No, the statues come to life. That's what I thought.
Well, okay.
Whoa! I gotta move.
Oh, does it want me to swing onto that from the other side? I don't think so. I could climb that and get up onto his arm a little bit, but where am I going from there? Maybe I can climb the side of his arm from the inside? I don't know. Maybe it wants me to swing across. If so, there's not enough time for that, no. You ever played it, Dix? Come on, bro. I figured you probably played all the Mario and Luigi games. This game is, not really fun right now, less than zero, I'm not gonna lie. It's actually, no, this is about as bad as the series gets. This is kind of what I don't like about Uncharted. It's like a non-game right now. How do I get back now? This way, I guess, huh? No. So I'm kind of stuck here then, huh? Or am I tripping? I am stuck here. So what's the catch? How come Nadine won't jump across? Like, why won't she turn while I'm on it? I can get down there, onto there, onto... I kind of could get to where I want to get, kind of. You guys are in the future, huh? It's already Christmas. Yes, it is indeed. Yeah, 12/13. Merry Christmas, apples. Merry Christmas. I just want to just jump down there and see what happens. Crank it. Okay, I'm confused. Jump down here. What? Where am I going? Jump down. That's how you die, though. I can't make that fall. I mean, where can I go? It's kind of a simple puzzle, right? If I can find where I can go, that must be where I have to go. Because I can't go many places right now. I can climb his hand to get back up, but once I crank it, then it's already gone. He's not really a villain, huh? You think Peach isn't going along every time Bowser comes by? Bowser has multiple castles, hella kids, an army of henchmen. He's obviously rich, huh? Peach got Mario fooled. Katie, are you implying that Peach is infidelitous? Because there's no way, dude. She's blonde. Look at her. She's innocent. We all are. So, seriously, where am I going? What am I doing here? I'm saying she's a gold digger, says Katie. Well, she's a princess, I guess. But princesses don't usually like rich guys, right? They usually like bad boys. I guess Bowser is the ultimate bad boy. On top of being rich, though. Merry Christmas to you, like. Welcome aboard, dude. But she ain't piping with no broke plumber, says J-Bomb. Let's order a pie and watch some old crazy movies, huh? Zero, you're a pretty smart guy. Guys, right now it's 12:15. We're gonna play this game for a little while longer. Just a few more minutes. I want to figure out how to get past this part if I possibly can. His arm comes up. I'm very confused what this game wants me right now. No apples. Apples fucking using the fucking hieroglyphs again. Plumbers do get paid, says Shiva Jones and Dix. I can turn this. Can I stop turning it part of the way, maybe? Doesn't seem that way. Go away, Chloe, let it go. No, I just crank it all the way. So now I can go a lot of nowhere. Oh, what's this? Here we go. Here we go. I'm a dumbass. Drake jump!
No going back now.
Okay. Go, Chloe, go.
Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Oh, good suggestion.
So now I've gotten somewhere, though. I've gotten higher up.
Ah, that was a close one. Nearly destroyed my pants.
Okay, climb it up. We're at the pinnacle. Now I can swing from here. Huh?
Wow. I can see my house from here.
Okay, that's not what they probably intended, you would think, right? I mean, how's I supposed to get this done? Historically speaking. Every time Peach is pregnant with one of Bowser's kids, who is their mom anyway, huh? Yeah, I guess probably Peach, right? Bowser kidnaps her until she has the baby and keeps Mario busy. Oh my god, Katie. Are you fucking Matt Pat now or what? That sounds pretty solid to me, dude. That sounds irrefutable to me.
All right then.
Can't say ho ho ho. Oh, that's crazy. If you have auto mod, well I don't. Fuck auto.
There we go.
Bowser has what, like at least 2 kids who he's got? Bowser Jr.?
Oh. Hello.
Koopalings aren't technically his kids, I guess, canonically. They're like his nephews. But they're probably his kids.
Fancy meeting you here.
Yeah. Let's see what's up there, shall we?
Yay, made it through this part. Yay. It's a door open for her, I see. Bowser, bad guy, but great dad of the game. Can you still say whore, 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 says Dix? You whore. Can you say simp, simp, simp?
Is that it?
We'll find out in a moment.
Is that what? What are we looking for exactly? We got cranks, bro. It's illegal to school. That's against the law now. Only if 3 guys see your mom walk into the room, Nix. Wow.
That sounds promising.
And they always do.
Yeah. Third eye of Shiva.
If she was a real princess, she would have been married off at 12, says Listen Zero. Is that a
The
thing that
light
happened to
is
princesses?
shining on that statue across the
Because
way.
Mega Corpo Amazon cares about virgins. They just want to live in a commercial world with no insults. Everybody's always having a good time and spending money.
Want to protect something, they
Really
don't
confused
do it
by the fact that they
halfway.
banned simp.
Come
Most
on.
guys use that as a weird badge of honor. I don't know if that's true. I would say some probably do. But I think it is still mostly an insult. Church gives you a shiny badge next to your name if you simp to people, says J-Bomb. Yeah, but I think that's... They hate it. Whoa. Oh, God. Okay, then it's slam into the wall. Who banned simp? It's a site-wide thing, Panders. There's a big controversy right now about Twitch banning some new terms. Simp, incel, virgin, all getting banned. Even virgins.
What's all this then?
Exactly, Katie. Cool. They're protecting their main income stream. These guys are out here spending a lot of money. They don't want them to get pissed off and leave. They want them to feel like they're, you know, targeted class. They want to be rewarded. They want to be the, you know, the upper class. They want them to be celebrated. They're spending money. Spend some money. Subscribe to Twitch.tv/Vencabot, guys. Guys, while we're talking about this, I want to shout out all my channel subs here on Twitch. And I want to say what I always say after every stream. If you guys enjoy the channel and want to help out financially speaking, check out patreon.com/Vencabot. Thank you, Katie. Or use a little Streamlabs button below the stream for the little piggy bank button. That's cool too. But what you shouldn't do is use the subscribe button on Twitch. Because Twitch takes half of that. If you put in $10, Twitch takes 5 of those bucks. That's true of bits as well. They take half. To me, it's a little bit
This one
extreme.
didn't stand the test of time.
Obviously, they're providing a service here. Obviously, it's a good service, more or less. Of course, there are those that would argue that it's got its flaws, and of course it does. I'm also very salty toward Twitch a lot of time for their shitty software engineering and whatnot. Thankfully, anonymous gifter gave Mr. Skinner a sub. Thank you, Mr. Skinner, for being here. An anonymous gifter's gift shared rewards of $5 in the chat. Thank you, anonymous. I love Twitch subs, guys. Not only are they supporting me personally, but again, I like Twitch. I'm glad Twitch is here. Okay, like, you're welcome. Virgin Incel Simp, the triple threat, says Apples. Doesn't Twitch take their cut of your money when you buy bits, not when you donate them to the streamer? Yes. Yes, Brian, yes. But same difference. That's kind of my point. That the reason why it's against Twitch's policy to tell you guys, it's literally, they literally make it a bannable offense to, you know, to out them. Because it's so, you know, disingenuous, it's so shady that, you know, the streamers are banned from telling you guys how much a bit is worth. Because if we could tell you guys how much a bit is worth, you guys wouldn't be buying bits. It's ridiculous. Right? Which is to say that a bit is worth 1 cent. Ban me, Twitch. A bit is worth 1 cent to the streamer. 1 bit is 1 cent. 100 bits is $1. And bits are bought full price for 2 cents per bit. You can buy them on sale, even then it's still typically more than 1 cent per bit. Right? That's how they make their money on Twitch's side. And it's not a coincidence, it's the same, you know, 50% they take from a sub. That's just what they take, it's 50%. They want half. So I have this laser beam. I had to put the laser beam over there, you would think, into a mirror and a laser. Intercept the laser with the mirror, you would think. Kind of makes sense. It's sort of like a restaurant telling you exactly how much a meal costs. It's bad for business. Yeah, but everywhere I eat tells me how much a meal costs. If it wasn't, I'd be pissed off. But it just goes to show, you know, where I'm at economically compared to some. You know, I understand that the higher end restaurants, oftentimes the menus will have no prices because it's just, you know, it's kind of considered to be kind of a faux pas. But where I'm at economically, if you don't tell me the price, then you can eat my ass. Cost to make. I'm sorry, J-Bob. Cost to make. I'm sorry. I misunderstood you. I came to the stream to escape the Twitch cops. Don't attract them to Skinner. I'm sorry, Mr. Skinner. I'm sorry. But how many Mesos is Apples, huh? I don't know. You have to ask Dicksucker that. He's the pro. I guess we're not getting a Christmas stream now. Oh, rest in peace. I got reported by 10 different guys. But yeah, it's against Twitch's policy to talk about how much bits are worth. And that's just ridiculous to me. That really is disgusting. It's gross. They would do that to the viewers, to the streamers. There's the ones that got broken over the mirror, huh? Eat my whole ass, yeah. Eat my ass the game. But yeah, guys, again, I appreciate Twitch. Again, they gotta stay in business somehow. I think that a service like Twitch wouldn't be able to sustain itself on ads alone because of how much technology is involved. But 50%, man. Come on. Without its streamers, Twitch has nothing. There is no Twitch without its streamers. And yet there is, you know, I would still exist without Twitch. I could still stream on YouTube or Facebook or anywhere else. They have competitors. I do kind of feel like, oh, I can redirect the laser here. Oh. I kind of feel like 50% is pretty high.
It's holding. It's a prism.
It's a prism. Okay, I guess that works. Pretending that eating ass is gross when all they ever do is eat shit in 3S, huh? Oh my lord.
What you said back in that.
Well, let's not totally sympathize with a company owned by fucking Amazon, Skitty. Yeah, exactly.
3 points of a trident.
A company that enables me to get paid to play video isn't generous. Yeah, they're really not. They're much less than I am generous, right? Because I'm helping them way more than they're helping me. Let's put it that way. Talk to me, Nadine. Come on.
You know about
I heard that the higher earning streamers get a higher percentage cut. That is true. Basically, once you're a partner, Skinner, you're allowed to negotiate. But I think that very, 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 very few partners are big enough to actually negotiate, you know, successfully with Amazon. What's up, Goss? Happy holidays, dude. Welcome aboard. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. What's good, Doc? Welcome aboard. Welcome back, I should say. I think you were here a little bit earlier. Gotta defend the poor oppressed company, says Dix, huh? A lot of people do that, dude. A lot of people do that. I'm making jokes, but that actually is a pretty big focus here in the United States. Pretty much Justin TV says listen zero, huh? Dig him up, resurrect him. Feliz Navi. So, is there a beam coming here? There is a beam. It's very faint, or is there not one? No, there's not one. Well, then I got the beam aimed wrong. I fucked up, man. Fuck! Look at the sub, the Amazon Prime sub. Negotiate this free sub. Yeah, the Amazon Prime subs always say this, right? They're the best subs you can give for the channel. Because you're already paying for Amazon. I mean, Amazon Prime, you know, it's you know, we all hate Amazon here. It's a pretty good price, good service. It's hard to, you know, it's hard to break away from that when it's such a good value. That being said, if you're paying for it, you might as well subscribe to a Twitch streamer somewhere. Make the most out of it. But the, you know, the paid subs, I don't really see the appeal, except that I appreciate that I have friends in the channel that they want to help out financially, which means a lot to me.
Yeah. Now...
I've had people come by and ask me if they think that subs on the channel will make our channel more discoverable here. I don't think that it will. I don't think that the actual discoverability on Twitch is based on subs at all. It's based on concurrent viewers, but not on subs. That all being said, I think you guys might find that Patreon's a better, you know, a better value for your money. In that, you know, more of what you contribute goes directly into the stream. Less of it goes to Amazon. I go straight up now, huh? Okay. Straight up.
The light's hitting the statue.
Brand loyalty is kind of fucked, except for food, huh? I'll fight for HP sauce. You can even arm it for some Skittles, huh? I generally cook my own meals from scratch, so fuck food brands, says Shiva Jones. Have you looked into the buy me a coffee bit? I have, Mage. I haven't invested much time into it yet. I have a coffee account, a Ko-Fi account, I guess, as well as a OnlyFans account and some other accounts as well. I thought maybe one day we could benefit from the diversity. Right now, we're just Patreon and Twitch subs and the little Streamlabs button. Do you have a sleepover tier? I wish Lessons Zero. Maybe one day. I talked in a previous stream about my ideal for a Vencacon one day. It'd be like a sleepover format. It'd be a convention where we all get tents and sleeping bags and hang out. Can I put something on the thing? I can lift up.
Oh shit! This one's busted.
Rest in peace.
Let me see.
Hold it, Nadine. Hold it in place. Do the pose too. Here we go.
Hang on.
You got
Coming
that?
soon, Venka Titty on OnlyFans. His fame's getting to his head. Venka's fame? I wish, guys. Okay.
There.
You make a phenomenal statue.
Get
Now-
over there. This thing's heavy.
Right.
Okay, here we go. Let's go. We all bring a mattress and lay them next to each other as dicks, huh? Yeah, my feeling would be we could get like a tour bus basically, and a hotel ballroom. We'd all sleep and play games in the ballroom. It'd be like a bunch of 3S cabs and classic video
Let's
games.
do the other side first.
That mean I can put this mirror down?
Other
If
side
you
first.
have
We did
to.
do this side first. What? I already did already. Where are these beams going? They're both going there now. No, that one's not quite lined up right. Oh, son of a bitch. I fucked up. We take the bus and go to like museums and shit. Check out the art museum together. Come back and play games. Eat some food. Sleep. That'd be sick. This would be like sharing one big mattress. People with fucking tents and shit. It'd be so much fun. We need a really big ballroom for that though. Good thing I never played 3S, so I'll be easy pickings, huh? But I'm down. Yeah, we have other games set up as well, I feel like. It'd be a hoot and a half. This is fancy, though. And SEX. Oh, the Venka Orgy. Oh, my God. Who you guys got in the Venka Orgy? Oh. Can I make that jump? Hope so. Oh, wow. But Chocobos is Brian. That could work, too. Maybe we can get sponsored by them by then. I gotta push this. I see. Okay. I gotta line it up. Grab it! You have to get the camera focused to be able to grab this shit in this game. Which is fair.
The statue's not the right place.
Thanks, Nadine. Okay, that'd probably do.
Nadine, be a dear.
We're ahead of you.
Are you gonna fix it? Let's fucking go, Nadine. You missed. Nadine. Fine. There we go. Go back. Come on. Come on. There we go. Okay.
Got it.
Let it go. Can I swing somewhere? I can swing here. Oh, okay. Wee. Can I swing over there too? Oh, sick. Can I swing over here? I can.
Okay, can you be a statue again?
Come on, let's go. Grab it. I love the fucking rope in this game. So much fun. I'm gonna go annoyed too. Rest in peace. Get some chachos? Yes. So we should do it in Houston then. That's a good incentive to do it in Houston. Vencabot. But finally give me the push to mod my one-up cab, huh? Well, those cabs you get from the department stores. There we go.
Okay, that did
Now the
something.
brakes kick in. That seems weird.
So I can put
The feeling I get when I saw
No, wait for
KKZ
it.
the first time back in '99 blew my socks off, huh? Sweet, sweet KKZ from Third Strike. Akuma's
Hold
Secret
still
Seeker.
for just a sec.
That's because I'm old. I'm not sitting on the floor, huh? We'll have chairs out there, come on. But you'll be sleeping on the floor.
Cleansing ritual.
That's the rule for Vencabot.
Oh, you can put down the mirror now. Shit. They found us. Get you ready.
Oh my lord! What the fuck? There's a fucking gang over there, bro. There'll be no panels, Stevie Jones. Who goes to panels at conventions? No.
Got enough. Go.
What was the time? Yeah, we're gonna have instead of panels, we're gonna have like food back tickets. We'll go to the museum, get them food at restaurants.
Yeah, we need the disc.
Ow.
Let's start my blood.
Good place for us to stop, I feel like. Oh my god.
We need to get out of here. We need the disc.
Get out of here!
Ouch. Oh, I'm confused. Can I retreat further back?
We need the disc.
Can I swing across?
Tough, eh?
What are you talking about? Not so tough. These guys are fucking gangsters. I need a shotgun for these guys, I feel like. This rifle is only doing me so good right now.
You got him.
And I can still use the rest of my ammo if I can find some guys to shoot. Who's got the rocket launcher? Okay. Auto aim, kind of coming in a little bit. Whoa! I get the body shots here. Okay. Okay, here comes some more guys. It's gonna end that bad right now, to be honest. It's kind of doing work. They're coming, dude. The game haters panel? Oh, that'd be fucking ridiculous, dude. That'd be sick. Shit. What do you got? Got a heavy machine gun? Jesus. We're on ammo. There's a shotgun right there, though. Right next to me. Oh my god. Okay. Grab the grenade. Yeah. Shoddy. Yes. Sniper rifle. Might want that, to be honest. There's definitely another guy over there with a fucking rocket launcher. Let's see if I can get some sniping done. No, don't cover there. Let's go back to where I was, I guess. Here we go. One shot, one kill. Boy, he's fucking fast, dude. He's fast. Hit him, Nadine. I have 8 shots this. Okay, I can live with that. I tried to lead it a little bit, but led it too much. This guy's fucking coming, dude. Oh my god. So am I supposed to just... Are they gonna spawn indefinitely if I don't go over there, perhaps? I'm getting kind of deja vu here. I kill that guy, then a couple guys spawn, seems. That's the trend. Hello? Let's all merge all of our bank accounts into one and move in with Steve, huh? I'm here for that, dude. He's all asking. Yeah, they fucking go, dude. They go. Because I promised to share. Unless I win, he said. Unless I win. Can we all start buying lotto tickets every week and promise to share? Well, we got how many guys on our Discord server? Like 300? I say, yeah, we should do it. We should do it. Pinky swear. Okay, so I think I'm gonna get this shotgun now. Because these guys are coming in close. Coming in close. Wait, what? They're not the same shotgun? Man! Can we get some fucking ammunition, please? Okay, grenades, yes, yes. Is there more ammo over here for this? Okay, there's some ammo for that gun. What happened to the, I thought I saw another, one of these SMGs. Maybe not. You okay? L3?
There! We can get out through that door. Let's go.
How they made it glow. Do 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 do. Darn, I wish I had my sniper rifle still. Jesus Christ! Oh, hang on. Oh no, he's fucking one of the armored guys, man. I hate those dudes. Get him, Nadine. Grab his ass so they shoot for me. Not a shotty. I don't know I'm over here, I don't think. Here we go. There's one over there still.
You are
Oh no, how do you know I was here?
Take them out!
Go, 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 go! Hurry up! Oh my, oh, almost. Fuck, man, I got seened. I got seened. So I've got my shotgun still, okay. Oop! Okay, reload. Guy over there. Oh, come on. Oh, man. That was good. I was gonna drop down on me, but he shot me from above like a dumbass. We got the guy with the fucking rocket launcher back. Respawns quite a bit.
Razor, get over here! Sure thing.
Okay. Shotgun's doing work. I could use some more. Ow! Get some more ammo for this gun, please. Yes. Oh shit! I wish I had like a long-range gun now. Apple's so generous. She's always making rain with the gift subs. And I'm like, apples, please! Please, be careful with those! She's like, no, I'm never careful. This gun's got a scope on it. Whoa! Let's try this. It's not a great scope. Might be enough, though. Where is this dude? I don't see him. There he is. Okay, I shot him twice. Is he dead? Or is he just in cover now? I think I might have killed his ass. Are you good? Pretty sure he's dead. Let's blame the lane, yeah. Audrey isn't a strong, independent apple. She don't need no tree. Okay, here we go. So I got grenades, I've got shotgun. This guy's just respawning like fuck constantly. I'd love to kill him and have him stay dead. That'd be a huge, huge help. I can swang right there, I think. Oh, where's the swang lang? Ouch. And maybe they destroy the swang lang? That guy spawning in here. including a shotgun guy. Come into my parlor, bro. Oh no, the grenades.
No.
It's alright.
Too close.
Oh no, 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 what the fuck? Okay, that worked out okay. Just barely. Hang tough for a minute. I actually do a blind fire here.
Last one.
Okay, nice. Can I shoot this man over there? Okay, I'm getting the job done slowly but surely. Alright, got some more shots in the shotgun still. I can get more ammo here, right? Yeah.
Just ahead.
You ain't kidding, Nadine. I swing? No, they destroyed all my swing spots. Well, that was a hoot and a half. Maybe they don't come down and kill us. They just kind of leave now. Oh, we survived that fall into the fucking ankle-deep water. Good thing, too. Take back what I said, guys. They're here.
Well, now that was quite the fall.
You
had
ain't
me
kidding, bro.
worried. Come, it's time for a reunion.
Oh, dude. Oh, Sam?
He wouldn't give you up, despite my efforts to persuade him.
That's sweet of you to say.
Jesus.
You think Chloe and Sam are going to become a thing? I mean, he's a girl. She's a boy.
All right. He is like a girl.
That's how it goes.
Is that right? How about we get these cuffs off and I'll show you how girls hit.
I mean, she called him out. That was pretty sexist.
You said find help. I gotta help.
Yeah.
I must admit, you are quite the schemer.
Schemers.
First you steal my disc, then you have your expert run me around in circles, huh?
Get off my disc, bro. How about my
That's
disc?
clever. Perhaps there's a little Indian blood in you after all.
Get your fucking minority racial pride out of here, bro. I don't want to hear that stuff. Character model for Chloe in this game multiplayer is trash. I pretty much had to pay to get it damn microtransactions for Sony Playstation. That's weird. I was playing it through the other day, and then she was like one of the first ones you have for free, I thought. So at my friend's house, I was playing this game's quote-unquote survival mode to see if it was good, and it was not. At least by my estimation.
Well,
But the graphics were really weird.
Let's
They were
finish
really,
where we
really
started.
bad compared to the main game for some reason.
All right, all right.
It was like a whole different game. Alright, walking and talking. Been playing some Dark Fear, guys.
So,
This stream of this game was real boring. Glad you guys were here to talk to me while I'm playing
I
it.
was gonna say, you look good.
Sometimes
Was
the
I not
game's really
clear?
boring, but it's okay because people in the chat hang out with me and it makes it a pleasure.
What's that
Today's one of
smell?
those days.
Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't exactly had access to running water and soap recently. Oh, the people
This is,
you could have
I always think of that scene from Batman Arkham
saved
Asylum
my
where you're
ass
walking
more
with the
than
Joker in
once.
the intro to the
You
game.
do remember that.
Whenever you have like a scene like
She
this
also
with the
tried
walking and
to
talking
kill
with the camera
Nathan
pulled right up
and
into your
I
back.
Many, many times.
And to
Do you think the developers realized they designed 2 hours straight of throwaway gameplay here? Well,
Yeah, but that's not the point.
to be
The point
fair,
is
Skinner,
that the
I was
second
talking
we
while
turn
playing
our backs,
and not even
there
trying
will
that
be a
hard. It
knife.
probably would have taken much less for any other gamer
I
except
can
for
hear
me.
every word you're saying.
I
It wasn't
know.
really 2 hours
I
of throwaway gameplay. It was more like, probably like 20 minutes throwaway gameplay.
You know what? Fine. I guess I'm just a
I
little
dragged
bit
out for
hurt
2
that
hours.
We are walking away with nothing.
But as for their ambition in that respect,
Right.
I mean, you know, it was a puzzle. I mean, there wasn't really much of a puzzle there. But it was platforming.
Time and place, children.
It's kind of the whole franchise's problem, right? The fact they have these parts where you just platform for a while, and the platforming itself is not that interesting. It's very simplistic. It's not, even at its best, it's not that interesting.
hurry up.
It kind of sucks anytime you don't get to just kind of shoot guys. I open it for some reason? That seems weird. Robot dancers?
That's ominous.
Mecha action figures? Collectible
It appears
figurines?
the kings have one final test.
Looks like you won't be needing us, though, so we'll just be on
Oh,
our
on the
way.
contrary. Surely you know the story.
This game is extended DLC, says Shiva Jones, though. I mean,
You see, Shiva gave Parashuram the mighty axe.
Can Sam just die? Stop. We don't like Sam. Why
Ganesh in
not?
the face,
Don't like his rugged good
bringing
looks.
Shiva's son,
His receding
one of the
hairline?
greatest of the gods, to his knees.
You'd rather he be this guy? This handsome pile of meat here? Asav? All games just made for DLCs as dicks. Yeah, I mean, this
He's
game...
just gonna
And what makes a game DLC?
He's right.
Is this game an expansion? That's how
But if
the way
you
it was marketed was
refuse-
as an expansion. And I mean, it
You will watch them
uses the same mechanics as Uncharted 4. But all the games have similar mechanics.
Chloe, don't.
I like it much better than 4, says Shiva Jones. But he thinks it's more like DLC. Extended DLC, I don't know. Again, this game seems like to me it seems worthy of being an Uncharted game. I wouldn't say it's any shorter than Uncharted 2. Okay, you want me to solve a puzzle now, I guess?
Don't try anything stupid.
Well, I'm Vencabot, dude. I can't help it. Everything I do is somewhat stupid. Good place to stop, though. I think this is definitely a checkpoint, right? We got like a little puzzle here or something. Can I hit triangle here again? I put the disc in. What else do you want me to do here? I don't see any switches to hit or levers to pull. Here's something, huh? No? No Wheel of Fortune? It was originally a DLC, but they kept adding content to it, to Shiva Jones. So they had to release it as a full game to justify the production value, perhaps. I can't interact with this, though, guys. What do you want from me? Oh, here we go. Got some swatches. Yeah, I've heard it referred to as an expansion. It definitely has that sort of feel to it, because it has the same sort of mechanics as Uncharted 4. Was it full price? I don't know. I paid $13 for it, including shipping. But that's, of course, years later. It was $40, so not quite full price. So I pulled the switch and something happened. Uh-oh. The strings, dude, so tense.
Shiva and Parashurama. What now?
What now, indeed? Oh, man. So tense. So I still can't Wheel of Fortune this shit. Am I pull the other switch again? Seems like a pretty easy job to be the music composer for this part of the game. I'm here for it. Want me to talk to Sa? All these guys? Oh, this thing.
Enough.
Relax. Relax, guys. Just trying to walk past you.
Chloe, don't you give this schmuck what he wants.
Press X to change which dial you're rotating. Okay. Well, let's do this, guys. And then I will get going with some Dark Fear. So whose leg's gonna be there? So the middle part's rotating along with this outside part. Well, this is tricky. I don't think none of these seem to line up. Am I insane?
You're testing my patience.
Relax, bro. Oh, there we go. Never mind. I'm a dumbass. We died a few times here, huh? I'm gonna die from being shot by a Sav. So I basically line up like that. And like this. Okay. Okay. So, which one? So let's put this here again, I suppose. This one turns the middle one. So, one. Listen, I have to write this down, perhaps. This one turns the outer two. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do this, guys. I'm gonna go over here, break, come right back with some Dark Fear action. See you guys very shortly. I have to do some math here. I'm gonna get a notebook and write this down for next time. A bad remake, Dork Fear, out of weed, Dank Fear. Basketball against Michael Jordan, Dunk Fear, huh? Definitely sounds like those could be some pretty quality titles. Sav is lazy not to do is solve that himself. Yeah, well, in his defense, he's got fucking, captives. If I had captives, I'd make them do my fucking stream for me. But I don't.
Please, oh, the anti-airs.
He's a real coward.
It's not safe. No punish, though.
He's a real lazy one.
Low forward super. Oh, didn't have super.
I mean, he fucking had to get captives, right? He had to work to get his captives.
Oh, my.
That's what I should do.
Oh, my. Oh,
Go out and fucking, captivate them people. I'm going to thank some people now. You guys see the names on the stream as we speak. The real ones that keep the channel alive, financially speaking, so I can afford to, stream and also eat and do YouTube every day and things like that. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun, too. Something I take a lot of pride in. Something I think is really cool. I think it's worth doing. And you guys have supported it, make it possible for me. I appreciate that more than I could possibly ever express. Thank you to John Hernandez, Katie Alpha Mark, Remy Cynthia, and Salty Face for being Black Knights on Patreon. That's so generous, guys. Thanks so much. That's no small amount of scratch. It's enough to help me, get my groceries and get my gas and stuff. Thank you to Fearless Howls on Patreon, Ash, Lethal Mazera, Audrey Apples, Dick Zucker, Farhan, Syed, Grey Gamer UK, Hubie, Jordy Hargreaves, Max, Michael Hinkle, MeanXP, and Wade Local. Thank you to the Shady Winners on Patreon, Brendan Williams, Chulok, Foulmill, GK Live, Good Vibe City, Juna, Nam Coolahan, Kyle Glass, Leon Madison, Mum Blues, Rage Against the Arcade Machine, Ricardo Garcia, Supertastic with Chen, Tony Basher, and Toxic Van.
Punches with throw. I like that.
Thank you to Benjamin J. Harkins, Karina D. Scott, Donka Dapper Dons, Herberg, I'm Droid Cruz, Kaiju, and Kenneth for putting in $1 a month on Patreon. That $1 goes further than you would think. It's a huge, huge help.
Oh my
it's
God!
It's only, for
Courtney!
morale, also for buying me a sandwich.
Oh my God!
That's actually really clutch.
That was a
sick
sick
Twitch subs as well. People like
comeback.
Zanzu, Big Nasty, Eboff the Chill and End Cruise, as well as the Shady Winners at the Amazon Prime free sub tier and the gift sub tier and the $5 sub tier. Thank you to Ash, Lethal, Stuffy Muffin, Audrey Apples, Balls D, Beastie Boy Jr., Blue Abs, Bat, Vencabot, Brother, Nero FGC, Karina Day, Akavia has changed me. What the fuck? What the fuck? Chumpit, Chulak, Circus Cancel, CPU3S, Creaky Axe, 386, Dapper Dons, Decoy Man, Dude Dick Sucker, Fight J Fight, First, Opus FPA, Brian X FPA, Eddie, Garbage Jungle Style, Gorilla Pimp 23, Herb Durkin, J Bob 1901, Jiffy Beefy, Kaiju is Dead, Katie Alpha, KG the Legend, Cool Hand, Matt Choke, MK159, Mothman FGC, Mr. Skinner, Mutant Experience, Neon Riot 4, Nicholas Jones, Oya Q812, Overlord Steve, Peter Steves, Praetor 51, QB416, Raging Mage Sage, Real Yiggin, Remy 057, Saddest Kitty, Sin Theory, Spife, SSB Ultra, Stone Cold Ryan Meyer, 3Venge, V204, Yeah Okay, Yellow Jelly 11, and Your Brain 3S. I wonder if Saddest Kitty's name is a reference to Fooey Fooey.
Because it ain't your turn to move.
Yo, how come we ain't jumped out this
Sad
motherfucker and
Kitty
just
so
swam away
long.
there?
Because it's the ocean.
Hey, yo, Tom Hanks did it.
Okay, so let's get Darth
Hey, he made fire.
Hasn't waited long enough.